Welcome into the Midday Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Hello, Amy.
Good morning, Ray.
How are you?
I'm well.
Well rested?
Yes.
No, just well.
Yes, I'm
not
very
well rested.
I don't know if that ever exists, but no.
Amy, of course, on the pre-post duties for Phillies last night out on the West Coast on NBC Sports Philadelphia. And I told you this morning when you walked in, the Phillies bats did not show up, and my, I guess, ability to stay awake did not show up last night either. I fell asleep, I think, somewhere in the sixth, and I woke up to a conversation I heard Ricky have with you off the air about 6-7 hours prior about the Ohtani homer from the previous night.
Correct.
I woke up during postgame to you and Ricky on my television having the same exact conversation.
Ohtani went yard again. Not as long as the night before, but yes. Maybe one batter too many for good old Jesus Luzardo.
Believe it or not, Ricky doesn't buy the StatCast numbers on where that ball went. I'm shocked that he doesn't believe the computers on something related to baseball. But we're happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Despite the late night that you had watching a Phillies game that, well, maybe the hangover hit you a day later.
Yeah,
I don't know. Fine. It's fine. They take 2 of 3 in L.A.
Took 4 out of 2. 4 for
2 for the season.
Yes.
Yeah. Move on to Arizona. Later on in the show, I have a little bit of a proposition for this Phillies team out there in Arizona. Right. I don't know how much I actually want them to do it, but would it be entertaining to watch them do it? We'll explain it coming up later. But I want to start with the Eagles because Monday, you and I hanging out here, reacting to the game, getting all fired up about the offense and what we didn't see, and hey, they're 2-0. Don't forget they're 2-0, all that. But we obviously talked about our concerns with this offense, the sustainability without explosive plays, of that being something long-term. You can't sustain that over a season in the bigger games. You can sustain that in September. And that was the biggest takeaway I had from that game on Sunday. And now I've watched as the rest of the world has reacted to the Eagles' offense. And the rest of the world has reacted to watching the Eagles. And it was actually a column today in the Inquirer from Mike Sielski. That the headline, I was like, all right, this feels like something we've talked about this week. I want to jump into it. The Eagles are bucking some long-time beliefs about the NFL, and people don't like it. So immediately I'm in. All right, people don't like the Eagles. We talked about that yesterday. The hatred that it seems like has been driven nationally against the Eagles because of just how successful they are. But the idea in this column is more that they don't fit what is right now and what the NFL has become in terms of an entertainment product.
Right.
That there is certain entertainment lacking with the Philadelphia Eagles based on their style of play. And we're going to play for you coming up. Bill Simmons on his podcast this past week talking about the Eagles and watching them and comparing them to paint dry. And this is where we've gone too far. This is where we've gone too far in terms of the critiques of the Philadelphia Eagles. I can absolutely say that offense needs more explosive plays. They need to look more in rhythm, all of that, for their ability to win football games later on in the season. To suggest that this team is not entertaining to watch, regardless of win or loss, even if they end up somehow losing that game against Kansas City on Sunday, to suggest it wasn't entertaining is kind of the simple-minded approach that I took when we were talking about the Bengals at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Where I was like, yeah, I'm in on every Bengals game because I just want to see Burrow try and outthrow the rest of his
defense.
Yeah, the rest of his defensive miscues. This team is entertaining.
Yeah.
And it's not because they're our team, they're Philadelphia. They have probably the most entertaining play in football, given the conversation that surrounded it this week.
Certainly the most popular.
Because everyone's glued to their television when it happens.
They want to see it. They want to see teams try to stop it. They want to see so they can talk about it the next day. And, oh, did you see there were false starts? And what who knows? But everybody talks about it. But to call it paint dry, that's a bridge too far.
But it's a question I want to get to.
That's also a Patriots fans talking.
Right, absolutely. And I would argue that some of his finest years as a fan were pretty similar football.
Exactly. Not exactly the flashiest you ever saw.
Yeah.
As much as I love, here's Julian Edelman over the middle. But
right. Kept the check down. He took what was there.
Exactly.
A guy that had Tom Brady as his quarterback is complaining about a quarterback taking what's in front of him. A little rich from me, but we'll play that coming up for you. I'm just curious for people. Take your Eagles hat off of this. Take your fan bias aside as much as you can, because we're entertained by our football team winning games. That is just a wholesale fact here. We want the Eagles to win football games. We're entertained when that happens. Are you entertained by the product of football that's placed out there on Sunday by the Eagles for you? And how much do you let the non-fandom things, for example, your fantasy football team, your prop bets that you put out there every week, impact your enjoyment of a game? And I'm reading the Sealski column today, and that's really where I think the driving force of boredom for people comes when they talk about watching the Eagles, where it's like, oh, this is boring. Is it boring, or do you just not appreciate defenses going back and forth? Mm-hmm. Is it boring, or did you have A.J. Brown's receiving over because everyone last week was like they're going to force the football to him? I think this Eagles team, entertaining in the one that they have the most entertaining play in football. Entertaining also for the fact that if you look at this defense, it's one of the most opportunistic across football. This has been 16 of 17 games where they've had a turnover. 16 of 17. The only time they haven't in that stretch was against the Ravens, and I would argue that was a pretty entertaining game itself. This defense and its ability to create turnovers is wildly entertaining because they flip a game pretty much week in and week out with some sort of consequential turnover. Travis Kelce dropping it into the hands of Makuba. Miles Sanders dropping the ball, as we've seen him do plenty of times before in that Cowboys game. And then I don't think I have to walk you through the turnovers in the Super Bowl you found entertaining, the turnovers you found last postseason to be entertaining.
Very entertaining Super Bowl.
Right. Well, even with that,
same team.
You say that the Super Bowl was entertaining. That game was over by about halftime.
It's 40-6. As you know, that is the score that I recognize.
That game on Sunday, you're at the edge of your seat to the end because the Eagles are playing a close game. And through 2 weeks, I don't think you could say they haven't been entertaining because they've played games where until the very last minute of that game, you're thinking, what's going to happen here? How does this game go?
Exactly.
To call them not entertaining is just hating.
Well, and also it goes to the fact of some people are tuning in just to see if them lose.
Yeah.
Because now they're that team. I just want to see. Oh, what are you talking about? They only have 101 yards. They can't win that game. Let's find out, shall we? I mean, there is an entertainment value in that. I get that it's not the flashiest you ever saw, but we had these same conversations nationally last year. You can't win when you're running the ball. Can't win. Can't do it. Not a sustainable winning product in today's NFL. Oh, okay. Say less.
You can win. But it also is, this is something I felt like we fought last year as well.
Yeah.
With this style of play.
It's not what today's NFL is. You roll with what you got. It is. It is when it works.
They're winning. To me, there are things to critique about the team, but I've now seen this go to a further extent where it seems like people like this style of play stinks.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you just don't appreciate that type of football. And that's why I want to ask the question to people at 610-632-0975. Eagles hat off for a second, all right? If you're watching on YouTube right now, I have the plain white sweatshirt on today.
Yeah.
Very dangerous choice in terms of something to wear, just in case we get food drop like wings or something like that. I always feel worried about that. But I got the plain white sweatshirt on. Look at me as Rob Lowe with the NFL
just
hat
NFL.
on. Yeah.
Switzerland right now.
Have your NFL hat on. Are you entertained by the product of football that you see the Eagles play? And also, how much do you let these non-fandom things, your fantasy football team, your prop bets, impact the way you watch the game? I'm curious at 610-632-0975 because I think that gets us into the world of hating. We're going to get that Bill Simmons audio for you coming up here because I listen to him say it, I just laugh. I laugh at what he acknowledges as entertaining football.
There's a guy on, and my algorithm is all over the place sometimes, but he's a streamer, a game streamer, Ninja.
Yeah. Yep.
Literally just went on like a diatribe about why are the Eagles on national television, like the primetime games, the game of the week.
Well, I would ask, why is he on your feed?
Who knows I don't know what my algorithm is.
I mean,
I don't know what my algorithm is.
Who gave him the right to speak about the Eagles?
So he was just like going, and he went crazy about it. He was like, this is ridiculous. Why are they on national TV for the game of the week? They should not be on prime time. I was like, then he kind of like talked it back, and then he like came in. They're the most boring. Okay, go back and play some video games.
Coming up, if we watched other teams play in such a way, would it be a team you want to watch? And I want to get into that conversation coming up here. Also today, we've got an opportunity for you country fans out there. We got tickets to give away, all right? We're playing Guess the Walk of Famer today because this has been LA week. This has been LA week. We watched the Phillies play the Dodgers. You got the Eagles and the Rams. Guess the Walk of Famer. All right? So you get 3 clues. I don't know where the echo's coming from here.
I like it.
But I don't like the sound of my own voice, so that was bothering me there for a second.
Really?
Guess the Walk of Famer. 3 clues. You text in at 610-632-0975. The first person to text in correctly is entered to win. We have 4 pairs of tickets to give away today to see Riley Green. It is as country as it gets toward 2026. It's coming next August 13th to Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. I'll say, Riley Green did a postgame show at Citizens Bank Park, I believe, last season.
Yes.
It was a good show.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
Highly entertaining.
I was there. So I'm not always a huge country guy. I enjoyed it. So these tickets for you could make for a nice August night next summer. We have 4 pairs of tickets.
Night outside.
In the next segment, we'll do our first iteration of Guess That Walk of Famer. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Coming up, we'll get you that Bill Simmons audio. Watching paint dry? Is that really what the Eagles are? We'll dive into it more. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
I'm not going to say Jaylen Hurts doesn't have to play a little bit better. Of course he does.
He did not have his greatest game.
Yeah, of course.
No, first half.
Yeah, of course he does. Of course Kevin Patullo has to evolve the offense a little bit more. Of course you want to see them take some shots down the field more. But this team does find ways to win games, and that's important. And, again, we're not saying this about a team that wasn't extremely successful last year. You're talking about a team now that has won how many straight games? Was it like 18 out of their last 19? And the only game they lost was when Jaylen Hurts goes out with a concussion in the first half. Like, at what point do we start to just trust and say, you know what, this Philadelphia Eagles team does what they have to do. No matter what, they know how to win football games.
I think I've gotten to that point with this team. I believe that this team is the best team in football every time they step out on the field. Why do you think you're getting this type of effort against other teams? Because they know that. They know that if they go on the field and half-ass it, they're going to get wiped right off of that field.
Let me give you a little Sirianni love.
Oh, boy.
Because
Knew
with that
coming.
win yesterday, Nick Sirianni improved his record to 50-20. That's a winning percentage of .714, which leapfrogged George Allen. He now has the second highest winning percentage all time, only behind John Madden.
I'm the smartest coach in the world.
Is that pretty good?
Pretty
So
damn
much
good.
good.
man.
You know what? I mean, think about Think about his whole time period here. He comes out with the fertilizer at first. Nobody believes in him. Now all of a sudden, take a look around. Take a look around at Eagles fans and ask them if they believe in Nick Sirianni. There is no other answer. The answer is yes.
You would hope.
And the one thing that kind of sits on me is that I look at the players and listen to what the players say. The players all love him.
Yeah,
Name a player who is, you know what? They went through that hell 2 years ago. How many players stuck up for Sirianni? Almost all of them, if not all of them.
Yeah, he seems to be liked by the players, and all he does is win. I mean, it's very similar to Jaylen Hurts. Both of them have their critics. Both of them have people who didn't believe in them and maybe still want to fight back every chance they get. But you talk about a quarterback and a head coach that win more than anybody.
Together.
He was like, have a good weekend.
Like,
You're like, I'll see you in a couple days.
also, the chances of Connor and I running into one another out and about
Very
within
good.
the city,
In the next 3 days?
Yeah,
Very good.
high.
Very good.
I would say exponentially, like really good chance of that. But alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays. We're not talking about where Connor and I going to hang out this weekend. No, we're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. We're talking about how entertained you are by the product of football that the Eagles play. Because if it was someone else, how in on that game would you be? Obviously, we're entertained by Eagles football because we care about Eagles football. But there's been, I think, the push too far where instead of critiquing the offense, it just stinks to watch this.
No one
It's
likes
brutal to watch this. How do you enjoy this? And Bill Simmons is at the center of this one. And before we get to, everyone's got their, I have to say, about most national people, there are some that I just can't stand, that I despise, that drive me nuts. Bill Simmons is like the, I don't even want to call it necessary evil because I enjoy listening to just the way his brain works.
Yeah,
You see the bias come out every time.
I enjoy reading him more than listening to him.
Fair enough. I think you see the bias come out, but that's that's the beauty of like we're local radio.
Yeah.
Like him he's a local guy to his national audience.
For me, it's the fandom that he participates in that makes it so tough.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just like Boston sports.
Nauseating.
I'm like, really, all that, and then he's just
everything comes back to the '86
and it's
Celtics.
just like, oh, you don't understand it's Celtics this and stuff. But yes, he is. The thing is, he's lockstep with it. Like there is no deviation. He's locked in. But yeah, I don't. He's not the worst side.
No, he's one of the national names that like I see him say something, I'm gonna listen.
Yeah,
I'll find it entertaining.
A good place. Usually.
And this one I disagree with wholeheartedly. So here he is talking about his takeaway from this week watching the Eagles and Chiefs.
My number one team, very similar to your case, is the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't stand watching them. That game was like watching paint dry. I wanted to take it off the multi-view. They threw deep to Devonta Smith once, and it was like, oh, something happened.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise, it's just like these swing passes to Barkley, these boring runs up the middle, every 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Now I'm watching Australian rugby for a play. I just don't enjoy it at all, and I like a lot of the players in their team. I don't like watching them play football. These are 2 games in a row that snooze fest. I'm on my phone the whole time.
It's interesting. As I read an article recently, and I don't know why it came up. You know how something's
right.
The swing pass was an interesting thing because Tom Brady, I'm pretty sure, threw more swing passes than almost anybody in a 10-year period.
But it's boring football.
He loved it for 10 years.
It's paint drying.
He loved it when Tom Terrific was doing it.
That's what this is to me, though. I'm curious because we can critique the offensive saying it needs to be more creative, that we want to see more explosive plays. But to suggest that the last 2 weeks haven't been entertaining, I think you're doing yourself a disservice on this one. Wildly entertaining. And him saying the tush push isn't entertaining.
Oh, that stupid rugby thing.
Yeah.
We have a gentleman on this team, the Eagles team, that played rugby and has said that is not a rugby play.
Right.
People just see that it's like people together. They think it's like the scrum in rugby. That's not it. But whatever.
We're Americans. We don't know anything.
We have no idea what's happening.
But that's honestly the
is that
take
a try?
on it,
sure, we'll go with that.
the take on it being a rugby play is kind of we're Americans. That seems like what I think
It
rugby
seems
is.
close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Go with that.
Go with it. Why not? Who cares? Now, they did employ a rugby coach to kind of help with it. But
Fine.
That's fine. We'll leave that part out of it. Just listening to him say that, though, I'm curious for people. He says take it off the multi-view. So I want to have this as
He said he almost did.
Yes.
He
But
didn't, though.
The idea, because he was entertained, because they are entertained.
There you go.
The idea of the multi-view, though, if this was Sunday at 1 o'clock, and the Eagles have played a Thursday night, they're playing Monday night, or they're playing Sunday night, and you're just with your YouTube TV, guy like me, YouTube TV, I got the multi-view. I'm setting it all up. If you got that, and you see in the one corner a game like Eagles-Chiefs, a team like the Eagles, playing the grinded-out football that they have the first 2 weeks, is it a brand of football that you subscribe to watch? That you're like, I have to keep this game within the 4 corners. I got to keep this game on my television. Because I'll be honest with you, even though I called it exhausting Monday, it's exhausting to watch because I'm invested in the one team. It's not exhausting to watch because I don't find it entertaining. Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I know for some people, and I think of my old college roommate when I say this, I think some people get so caught up in the fantasy football, the prop bet world, that that game becomes much more nauseating to you and less
You're just waiting for your guys to do something.
I remember, and I would make fun of him to his face with this. It'd be 107 in the afternoon. We'd have Renzo'd on. It'd be 107. So we were like 7 minutes into actual real-time minutes. Probably 2-3 minutes into a game. The offense has run 2 plays, and he's like,
I got to find a different
"What?
guy.
Are you serious right now? Why aren't they feeding the ball to Dalvin Cook?" And it's like, Dalvin Cook just took the field for the first time.
It's the first series.
A play ago. They decided to pass to open up the game. It's second down. And I think that that's so much of the way we consume it. So I read Sealski's column today, and he talks about kind of that idea that, like, what the NFL has become, the Eagles are kind of the antithesis to that. Like, they are the opposite of that. And I'm curious, if they weren't our team, how people would feel about watching them.
Yeah, it's interesting because it depends on the quality of the teams. Like, that was a very good matchup because it was 2 high-level quarterbacks. They just met in the Super Bowl. We know the defense for the Chiefs. Everybody was talking about, okay, well, what's the offense going to look like against Spags' defense? That's totally different. So that was 2 kind of heavyweights, and you're in Arrowhead Stadium. It was a highly entertaining game because it was 2 very, very tough opponents. If it was the Panthers against the Jaguars and it was 6-3,
Right, it looked a lot different.
that's a totally different game because that's not high-level football. That was high-level football. Just because you didn't have, like, these 30-yard runs by Saquon Barkley and this 50-yard passing, routes down hey, it's a deep ball to A.J. Brown and look at him broke free, doesn't make it not entertaining. What you did see was a efficient and effective game plan that the Eagles came out with these quick passes because they knew the pass rush was going to be very strong on Jaylen Hurts. Just because you didn't like the way that it looked didn't mean that it wasn't entertaining. That's why I guess you can't marry the two. Like,
right. And like
you
go
didn't
into our YouTube chat right here. JM, I
right.
don't care if the offense is boring. I care if it's ineffective.
There you go.
Agree with that.
Perfect.
Agree with that entirely. Raging truth in here. If you want to see offense, go watch arena football.
Perfect.
Neil, on the opposite side of this, we can be honest, right? Yes, it's boring as hell, but yes, it can get better. Well, yeah I think we all think it can get better.
It was week 2.
We all hope it's going to get better. But I'm curious for people what you think of that style of play in terms of the entertainment factor. Now, speaking of entertaining, we got tickets to give away here. For Riley Green.
Riley Green.
So this is going to be...
And this was a question people had the other day, what we called Freedom Mortgage Pavilion.
Correct. I have the copy in front of me.
It depends on where you
I'm a
were
professional.
in your life, what you call that
I
building.
call it BB&T to anyone else, but I'm a professional here.
There's
It's
some
called
people-
Freedom Mortgage Pavilion.
Freedom Mortgage Pavilion over in Camden.
August 13th, 2026. Riley Green, as country as it gets tour. We got 4 pairs of tickets to give away. Twice an hour, we're going to play Guess That Walk of Famer. We're going to play it with our producer here, Austin Jones. Austin Jones, I'm going to give you 3 clues. And we're going to give the people a chance to text in their answer at 610-632-0975. All right?
Let's
so
do it.
The first one to get it right, the first one you see on the text board that gets it correct, they're entered to win. The 3 clues you have for this Walk of Famer: Seinfeld, Veep, Saturday Night Live.
Oh, it's a great one. I got it.
All right? 610-632-0975. Text in that Walk of Famer, and we're going to get Austin's guess
Oh, boy.
right now.
Oh, boy.
We're not starting off well.
Oh,
no.
Really?
I'm not a Seinfeld guy, so I know that's
Any
probably
of
the
the other
biggest clue.
shows?
Oh.
What were the other 2 shows?
Veep
Veep?
and Saturday Night Live.
No, there's like 1,000 people on Saturday Night
The
Live.
old school. Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yes, Julia
Come
Louis-Dreyfus. The
on.
first one to 610-632-0975. Entered to win the tickets. Coming up, Jaylen Hurts spoke on the passing game. We'll take his reaction to what he saw in week 2 of the passing game and give our thoughts on it. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Dodgers shut out the Phillies last night 5-0 as Jesus Luzardo gave up 4 runs in 7 innings. On the other side, Blake Snell pitched 7 scoreless innings with 12 strikeouts. They'll be off tonight as tomorrow night they will be in Arizona to face the Diamondbacks. The game will be started by Taijuan Walker and then piggybacked by Walker Buehler. The game is going to set the start at 9:40 with the Eagles offense being off to a slow start. Jaylen Hurts stated yesterday during his media session that he knows the offense can get it into gear because they have the correct pieces to do so.
Over the time that we've had success, offensive football has always been played at a high level here, been dynamic, and has found ways to win. And we hope to continue to work to be able to do that. And we think that there are pieces and ways that we can improve, and we've been very critical of ourselves, and that starts with me being critical of myself.
Yesterday, the Eagles won the practice field, and they welcomed back Dallas Goedert, who practiced on a limited basis. Jalen Carter and Tanner McKee were also limited as well. Olivia Reiner from the Philadelphia Inquirer will join the show at 1:25. This update's brought to you by Dell Technologies. The new Dell AI PC with Intel Core Ultra helps you fast forward through your busy work, leaving more time for you to get yours at Dell.com/AIPC. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the best sports coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
When you go into Arrowhead Stadium, which is not an easy place, I mean, the record reflects it. You include the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes coming into this game was 58-13 at Arrowhead Stadium, and you find a way to win even with your offense not firing on all cylinders. And you look at that first half, Patrick Mahomes, the only thing he had going for him in that first half was his scrambling ability. He puts up 60 yards rushing in the first half. The defense adjusted, and they hold them to only 6 yards the rest of the way in that second half. They held the Kansas City Chiefs to 17 points. You're going to win a lot of games when you're able to do that. They won the turnover battle again, just like they did in week 1 against the Cowboys. They get a big interception by rookie Drew Makuba in the red zone off of Travis Kelce's hands, which was a beautiful thing to watch. And they did enough to win the football game. So you're right. Whenever you can win a game in the NFL, it's a positive, but especially in that environment. Like, you knew the Chiefs had revenge on their mind. You knew they didn't want to fall to 0-2. And even still, you find a way to win. I'm feeling good today.
That a lot of the conversation today and this week, and just basing it off of social media yesterday, will be about the offense, right? And yes, for the people that said the Eagles are better, but they have Mahomes and Andy Reid, they do have those guys. But this Eagles defense balled out. I want to freaking celebrate how damn good that defense was yesterday, because as much as I mentioned Jaylen Hurts, 15 of 22 for 101 yards, is 16 of 29 for 187 yards with an interception really all that much better?
When you go into Arrowhead Stadium, which is not an easy place, I mean, the record reflects it. You include the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes coming into this game was 58-13 at Arrowhead Stadium, and you find a way to win even with your offense not firing on all cylinders. And you look at that first half, Patrick Mahomes, the only thing he had going for him in that first half was his scrambling ability. He puts up 60 yards rushing in the first half. The defense adjusted, and they hold them to only 6 yards the rest of the way in that second half.
Midday show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Talking Birds early on here. Believe it or not, still talking about that offense. It's Thursday. We're still talking about it. And talking about it in the prism of NFL viewership. Because we know people are going to watch the NFL regardless. But there was the commentary from Bill Simmons that this was like watching paint dry. And I think you can say a lot of things about the Eagles offense and where you want it to go. I don't think you can call the Eagles as a appointment viewing pleasure as something that you don't like, that you don't enjoy. That's boring. That's to me, that's not fair.
Yeah, his remark was for the entire game. He did obviously single out some of the offense, but it was for the entire game.
Right, and
it wasn't his cup of tea.
They're not a boring product. They are an entertaining product. They're the way they accomplish doing things compared to the explosive plays in the NFL might be not as exciting. But I can't say that they are not an entertaining product.
The Giants put up a lot of points on Sunday.
It's true. That was a flashy back and forth.
Woo.
You want to go watch the Giants? Watch the Giants.
Enjoy that.
Yeah. We're also playing Guess That Walk of Famer because it's LA week here, and we've got Riley Green tickets to give away for you. 4 pairs of Riley Green tickets. So the way we're doing it, give you 3 clues. You're going up against Austin, which Austin, very tough start for you. Very tough.
Not the best start here. 0-for-1 to start, but that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of felt like I was handing you with Seinfeld and Veep. Yeah. I really didn't have – I thought by the third clue it would be like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. But, hey, listen, not a Seinfeld guy. I question a little bit that you kind of fit into that Bill mold of like, all right, I don't know what you've been doing for your entire life, but, hey, understand, get it, not for everyone. That was tough, though. Tough start for you.
Yeah.
You are 0-for-1, but we do have an audience member that did text in first to get it correctly at 610-632-0975. Who got it right?
Yep, this is John Lynch from Langford.
All right. Shout out John from Langford. John, you are the first qualified. Remember, we have 4 pairs of tickets.
4 pairs of tickets.
We're going to have 8 people qualified. So if you just end up being one of the 8, you're in a really good spot.
You're in good
Percentages are really in your favor here. Now, mentioned Jaylen Hurts finally did get a chance to address this passing offense yesterday when he met with the media. Took accountability for it. So here's a listen to what Hurts had to say about the passing offense against Kansas City.
More importantly, just overall operation, how we function, how we flow, our synchronization. I take accountability for a lot of it and just how we go out there, because it's my job. My job is to go out there and be the general, orchestrate everything, and ultimately make plays. And, given the opportunities we had, I'm very critical of myself of trying to make the most of what's given to us. And so there's definitely some evolution that we can do. There's definitely some things that we can grow in. But I look inward on all of those things and just want to make the most of the opportunities that we do have. And when you're able to do that and you win and you have a lot to learn from, you can be very critical of yourself on that. And that's something that I've done.
Talked Monday about using A.J. Brown more creatively, and I still feel that to be the case, given that he's got the highest percentage of slants, highest percentage of in-breaking routes of his career through 2 games. I still think that's very true. The other part of this, and this has been something that's been echoed all week, and I know has been our YouTube chat's favorite back and forth about Hurts' level of blame.
Yes.
Funny.
Like, where does he fall in?
It's fine. We're using blame to describe
a win,
2-0. But the level of flaws in that offense, where are some of the flaws in there?
Whose fault was it?
Yeah. The execution of the offense from the quarterback position is one where it sounds like I don't think you'd be getting Hurts right off the jump at the presser saying, hey, my bad, if he really believed a win was a win after that game. I think he legitimately believes there was meat left on the bone there.
Yeah, and I think that they talked about it. Obviously, at this point, they've seen that all 22, and they can see where some openings were. And Kevin Patullo talked about that earlier in the week. Like our game plan for a couple of these, like certainly right out of the gates was, let's run some of these routes. They weren't available, so we had to pivot, quickly. But their plan is always to try to get a couple of these explosive plays. He literally said that.
Right.
Quote almost word for word.
And that first play of the game, if things go differently there, we probably end up having a whole different conversation.
Yeah, you would have at least one. You'd be like, oh. Then of course
it was to AJ, and we wouldn't be talking about it. We wouldn't have Colin Coward saying that he should request a trade. You know, we would have a whole different world.
That's like an alternate universe.
Yeah. So people just live in the drama. And I you know.
That was a remarkable statement.
It was. That's why we had to play it for you yesterday. Synchronization, by the way, also the buzzword of the season. I believe that's
synchronization.
Synchronization. That's his word this year for Hurts. Him and Patullo. Synchronization.
They got to get on the same page.
Yeah. No. Synchronization. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
We're
just going to go with that.
That's the word.
No other way to say
I want
it.
a T-shirt.
Synchronization
right across the chest there. But I think you can see from his, again, right off the jump saying, hey, you know, we won, but there's things to certainly take from that he realizes he left a lot out there. And I think we all realize at this point that he's left a lot out there. Like, I thought the first game of the season, he was efficient. There wasn't more there for him.
Right.
Maybe 1-2 plays in the second half that they probably could have hit on, but those two offenses went silent in that second half. Game 2, not as high marks. And there was definitely, again, they really have to just take, it's not 15 more risks a game, but it's like 3 or 4. You can't be as risk averse. It's not forcing. They use the word manufacture. It's not forcing it, but they have to generate more. He has to, because I think they generate a couple of looks and he just didn't take those risks. He has to be comfortable knowing, like we had the whole conversation about his confidence coming into the season. He's got to be comfortable.
Flying high, feeling good.
Yeah, taking that chance.
And I think that's the thing. A lot of the talk this week has been, well, we didn't do this because we were worried about turnovers, knowing that one turnover changes the game. And then, of course, they can say that because on Tuesday, it proved your point. One turnover did change the game. Also, I think there's certain aspects for me when I'm listening to that, I understand, but you do have to be able to take a chances. And then you also have to trust your defense to know that they're also going to be able to limit the opponent and possibly turn them over. So you have a very good defense. If this was the Bengals, you got to let it fly.
Right, and you're also going up against...
I feel like you have a very good defense, and you can go ahead and let it fly, too.
I get the Mahomes, but you're going up against an offense that was without its top 2 receivers.
Right. It's not a dynamic. It's a very one-dimensional offense in the Chiefs. It felt like you could have put more points up there to try to get a little bit more breathing room because your defense was going to limit them the entire day.
Now, coming up, that passing game went silent in the second half of the playoff game in the driving snow, which... the time, understandable, driving snow, though the Rams did make that close at the end. I want to revisit that game.
Yeah, they
because
did. It didn't feel close.
That's what I want to revisit. How do you remember that game? Closely contested, garbage time gimmick. How do you recall that game in the postseason? Also, coming up at the end of the next segment, your next chance to get entered to win the Riley Green tickets. Coming up next August at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion with guest the Walk of Famer. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Take it to Middays, 975 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic's Andrew DiCecco.
When you go in the Arrowhead Stadium, which is not an easy place, I mean, the record reflects it. You include the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes coming into this game was 58-13 at Arrowhead Stadium, and you find a way to win even with your offense not firing on all cylinders. And you look at that first half, Patrick Mahomes, the only thing he had going for him in that first half was his scrambling ability. He puts up 60 yards rushing in the first half. The defense adjusted, and they hold them to only 6 yards the rest of the way in that second half. They held the Kansas City Chiefs to 17 points. You're going to win a lot of games when you're able to do that. They won the turnover battle again, just like they did in week 1 against the Cowboys. They get a big interception by rookie Drew Makuba in the red zone off of Travis Kelce's hands, which was a beautiful thing to watch. And they did enough to win the football game. So you're right. Whenever you can win a game in the NFL, it's a positive, but especially in that environment. Like, you knew the Chiefs had revenge on their mind. You knew they didn't want to fall to 0-2. And even still, you find a way to win. I'm feeling good today.
that a lot of the conversation today and this week, and just basing it off of social media yesterday, will be about the offense, right? And yes, for the people that said the Eagles are better, but they have Mahomes and Andy Reid, they do have those guys. But this Eagles defense balled out. I want to freaking celebrate how damn good that defense was yesterday, because as much as I mentioned Jaylen Hurts, 15 of 22 for 101 yards, is 16 of 29 for 187 yards with an interception really all that much better?
Welcome back into the Midday Show. We work our way through the 10 o'clock hour here alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. Amy, who is just doing tremendous work right now in terms of the sleep schedule. Like, I'm very impressed at the ability to turn around. Ricky doesn't sleep, so I'm less impressed with his work because, like, he always brags that he's like a 4-hour sleep type of guy. But the fact that I woke up on my couch to you guys having a conversation post-game, and I was like, let me see the end of the conversation. You guys cut the break. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm
out.
Bed. Yeah.
We came back.
Yeah, you guys did. You guys
We were
ended up back. You
continuing our
guys
show.
back on the show. I ended up very much asleep. I went back to
That's all
one
right.
of
You
my
weren't alone.
most viewed programs, which would be the back of my eyelids.
that's
Yeah,
all right.
I was calling it a night there. I also saw, while we're talking Phillies just for a second, we're going to get back to this Eagles thing. Did you see Mitchell and Ness coming out with the Jimmy Rollins 29 jersey in honor of the 25-year anniversary
Well done.
of his Major League debut?
Well done.
They dropped the first vintage Cooperstown Collection 2000 white pinstripe jersey and 2000 red BP jersey.
Oh, the red jerseys, which are
Uh-huh.
no one has seen in a while.
I know.
Is retired.
Rollins 29,
Rollins 29.
which I did.
That's like deep divey for people.
Yeah, we're doing a little trivia today with Guess the Walk of Famer. I did one run as a Quizzo host. I did one night. And one of my categories was named that number. It was Philadelphia-based.
Okay.
If you can
That makes
believe it,
sense.
it was a
Shocking.
Philadelphia sports-based trivia.
Sounds
for
about
me.
right.
Does that not sound right for me?
That sounds
I
exactly
did it
right.
at South House in South Philly, a place that I
perfect.
absolutely love. And one of my categories was Guess That Number, or Name That Number. And the Name That Number was every number that they wore in Philadelphia. So Rollins was a 3-point answer.
Yeah. 29. There was a third
6 as well.
6.
29, 6, and 11.
When was he 6?
Very briefly.
Yeah.
Early on. Very briefly.
Wow,
on.
that's
Jimmy
deep
Rollins,
diving.
yes. And, of course, he wasn't the only one that had that because I had the LaShawn McCoy answer in there as well, where he was 29 and 25. We all remember it was 25.
25. Correct.
Trying to find where was 6 here. I'm trying to get you that year.
don't.
2003 was the year.
Yes, before the person that actually wore 6
Yes.
arrived here in Philadelphia.
Right,
and
right.
won an MVP.
Yes. But just some fun there.
Interesting.
We're playing Guess the Walk of Fame, but that'll be coming up later at the end of the segment for the Riley Green tickets in honor of it being LA Week here. But LA Week in the postseason, how do you remember it? You said you remember it as a game that wasn't as close as the final score.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it felt like a grind in it because of the conditions and the way that it was a divisional round. But if you really if I think back on it, I think there was, maybe it's because of the feeling I had. I never thought they were going to lose that game. And if for it to be a close game in my mind, I would have had like that fear. There was no fear for me. I thought, well, that was
okay.
no big deal.
So you personally felt like it was not as close as it seemed. Austin Jones, I want to get your perspective. Before I give my perspective on this, because I'm wondering where I stand on this and if maybe I'm out of line. Go right ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm with Amy. Once I seen that Saquon, second half run in the end zone through the snow, I was sitting there like, yeah, Rams are not coming back to win this game. And like I said, that the two big plays by Jalen Carter make it seem like it's bigger than it is. But no, I don't think the Rams had a shot.
I am so glad the two of you are so uber secure and confident in what's going to happen in this world. I remember that game as just like
Fighting.
heart rate inducing. Like I was terrified. I remember. So I did that. Bill had welcomed new baby into the world that week, so he was not on the pregame show. So I'd done pregame down at formerly Xfinity, now Stateside Live, with Andrew Salciunas and Connor Thomas. And believe it or not, Connor Thomas and I stuck around to watch it there.
Enjoy some things?
Yeah, to watch it Stateside Live. And I just remember high stakes, like feeling incredibly nervous. Like I remember legitimately sitting there, and I don't know if I said it to Connor or I looked at Connor and gave him the look of, our lives tomorrow are going to be absolute hell.
You really thought they were going to lose that game?
As the Rams are going down the field, before the Jalen Carter play, as they're going down the field, and before they end up not converting, I was sitting there like, oh my goodness, they are really about to do this, where we all celebrate. Because you mentioned the Saquon run through the snow. Like that, in that moment, I was like, woo. And then there was like the little thing in the back of my head, I was like, oh, they got a little bit of time, but like there's no way. And then they go down and score quick, and I'm like, oh, bleep.
So that Puka Nacua catch, you probably were not a happy camper.
I was a wreck.
There was definitely that moment. I remember that. I was like, oh. But
I was a wreck through that game.
I didn't think that they were going to lose.
Which is why I think this entire offseason, to tie this into the matchup this week, this entire offseason, because I felt that game was much closer than I think a lot of people do, until Matthew Stafford had the month-long, I'm a 37-year-old with a bad back storyline, the Rams were the ones that concerned me the most. Since that point, I have been walked off that path a little bit of like how I feel about them. But I'm curious for people. It's 610-632-0975. How do you remember that game? Because I think my viewpoint of the Rams is impacted because I think that game was a lot closer than we give it credit for. Yeah, it was a good game. Entertaining game. Enjoyed watching.
Very.
But I'm curious for people how you feel about it, because for me, I just remember being a wreck in the fourth quarter. And I don't know, maybe that's an insecurity inside me I have to address.
Or is that the Negadelphia coming out?
I don't even think that's the second time this week I've been called Negadelphia. It's not a negative feeling. It's watching them just carve up your defense through the snow. And when you're just firing forward and the defense seems like it's slipping all over the place, I'm like, don't do it to me.
I need this.
Don't break my heart like this. Please. So I'm curious for people. Wow, you call me a Negadelphia.
No, I
twice
said
in 1 week.
You had some of the negative.
First time in my life.
It's like a recessive gene. Sometimes you just don't know when it pops up.
I just was watching them drive the football, and I was like, oh, my gosh, they're really getting down the field. I'll tell you, there are people that were never worried against the Falcons back in the day. That pass going through Julio Jones' hands for about like a minute there, the Eagles are celebrating, and I'm still scanning the field for a flag. I'm like, there's something, like the other shoe's going to drop here. I'm gonna be broken.
Well, that just comes from like we're not used to having nice things.
I guess. I give the Rams their due on this one. I thought that game was a lot closer than people give it credit for. But I'm curious if I remember it differently than everyone else, because I'm outnumbered 2-1 here. You can get it at 610-632-0975. All right. I'm worried for you.
Oh, boy.
Austin Jones. We're doing Guess the Walk of Famer. I give you 3 clues. You text it at 610-632-0975. The name of the Walk of Famer. This is, of course, in honor of LA Week. And you're getting a chance to get a pair of tickets to see Riley Green as Cowboy as It Gets Tour 2026. I feel like I shouldn't read the name of the tour, because as Cowboy as It Gets, we're talking birds, feels like the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
But August 13th, 2026 at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. Saw Riley Green post-game after Phillies game last year. So I can vouch. Good stuff. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 o'clock. All right, 3 clues for you. Major key. All I do is win, and we the best. You can text in 610-632-0975. All right, so those are your 3 clues. Major key, all I do is win, we the best. You text in 610-632-0975. Be the first one to the text line to get it correct. You get entered for a chance to win one of our pair of tickets to see Riley Green. Austin, you are 0 for 1.
0 for 1 so far.
A very difficult miss for you on the first one. The 3 clues. Major key, all I do is win, we the best. Who are we talking about on the Walk of Fame?
DJ Khaled.
There we go. He's 1 for 2.
There we go.
Good stuff for you there, Austin Jones. All right, so you're 1 for 2. We'll have 6 more opportunities to do it, but again, you just heard me give the answer. People were slow to text. 610-632-0975. You had a chance to get your entry in there. Coming up, we'll get some of your reactions to the Eagles conversation we've had through the first hour here, and the Phils decide to shuffle some things around, pitching rotation-wise. Should they have? We'll get into it. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Dodgers shut out the Phillies last night 5-0 as Jesus Luzardo gave up 4 earned runs in 7 innings. On the other side, Blake Snell pitched 7 scoreless innings with 12 strikeouts. They'll be off tonight as tomorrow night they will face the Arizona Diamondbacks. The game will be started by Taijuan Walker and then piggybacked by Walker Buehler. First pitch is set for 9:40 with the Eagles offense being off to a slow start. Jaylen Hurts stated that yesterday during his media session that he knows this offense can get in the gear because they have the right pieces to do so.
Over the time that we've had success, offensive football has always been played at a high level here, been dynamic, and it's found ways to win. And we hope to continue to work to be able to do that. And we think that there are pieces and ways that we can improve, and we've been very critical of ourselves, and that starts with me being critical of myself.
Yesterday on the practice field, Dallas Goedert was welcomed back on a limited basis, and Jalen Carter and Tanner McKee were both limited as well. Olivia Reiner from the Philadelphia Inquirer will join the show at 1:25. This update's brought to you by Bet365. Football is back. Get ready for the season at Bet365. When it comes to sports books, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
When you go into Arrowhead Stadium, which is not an easy place, I mean, the record reflects it. You include the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes coming into this game was 58-13 at Arrowhead Stadium, and you find a way to win even with your offense not firing on all cylinders. And you look at that first half, Patrick Mahomes, the only thing he had going for him in that first half was his scrambling ability. He puts up 60 yards rushing in the first half. The defense adjusted, and they hold them to only 6 yards the rest of the way in that second half. They held the Kansas City Chiefs to 17 points. You're going to win a lot of games when you're able to do that. They won the turnover battle again, just like they did in Week 1 against the Cowboys. They get a big interception by rookie Drew Makuba in the red zone off of Travis Kelce's hands, which was a beautiful thing to watch. And they did enough to win the football game. So you're right. Whenever you can win a game in the NFL, it's a positive, but especially in that environment. Like, you knew the Chiefs had revenge on their mind. You knew they didn't want to fall to 0-2. And even still, you find a way to win. I'm feeling good today.
That a lot of the conversation today and this week, and just basing it off of social media yesterday, will be about the offense, right? And yes, for the people that said the Eagles are better, but they have Mahomes and Andy Reid, they do have those guys. But this Eagles defense balled out. I want to freaking celebrate how damn good that defense was yesterday, because as much as I mentioned Jaylen Hurts, 15 of 22 for 101 yards, is 16 of 29 for 187 yards with an interception really all that much better?
a great day, Andrew. Good to see you. Close it on the 11 o'clock hour here on the Midday Show. WPN, WPN, HD1. Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. That guy and I used to work together way back in the day.
It shows.
Does it? Oh, that guy got me a job.
And he's so thankful that he did that. So now you guys can terrorize each other.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm right done. She's Amy Fadul. Andrew Salciunas is the one we're talking about. We had a fun time, too, Saturday morning. Mr. Salciunas, by the way. Papa Salciunas, just a great guy. I think that was the first time I had met him was Saturday morning. Just an all-time guy. Just absolutely ran that tailgate from sitting in his seat drinking a beer. Like, just the man. It was a really good time before that Temple game on Saturday. Today we're playing, amongst many things we're doing, we're going to get some of your reactions. Sorry, I'm actually crying laughing. I just couldn't believe he threw that at me while we were coming back from break. What if I had cursed or said something in response to it? Austin Jones produced the program. We're playing Guess That Walk of Famer in honor of LA Week with our Riley Green tickets to give away. And we also have people on the text line weighing in on the Birds, some of the conversation we got into early in the show. And I was reacting to a sentiment that this is a boring team to watch, a sentiment that this is not an entertaining team to watch. This team is entertaining, even if it might be in a slightly boring way. Right. If that makes sense. Like, I'm entertained throughout. If this was another team playing football.
Maybe a non-traditional way.
Right, a non-traditional way of entertaining.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. We got some people weighing in on our early conversation with the Birds. What do we got?
Yeah, so this is from John. He said the season opener and last Sunday's game were record numbers. People must love paint drying.
That's a good point. The ratings come out, and it's not just here in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Sunday was expected. Going into it, everyone expected that game to break records.
Of course.
For good reason.
It's the rematch of the Super Bowl. People
Right.
are interested. So as much people talk about it's paint dry, whatever, they still watched it.
Yeah, you still stuck around.
So.
And that Thursday night game, had there not been the weather delay, I think was going to set some sort of record as well.
Yes, correct. That is correct.
What else we got?
Alrighty, so this gentleman said, the Eagles' style of play right now is objectively boring. Don't get me wrong, I love the wins and I'm always happy about it, but the lack of creativity and the inability to move the ball along the field is boring. Playing Spags definitely played a role in that, so I'm not worried. The tush push is also boring in a good way because it's automatic and there's no suspense. I live in a non-betting state. He's down in Virginia and said he doesn't have any Eagles on his fantasy football team, so it doesn't affect his opinion.
There you go.
I'll be honest, I have 11 leagues. I might have like one Eagle across the 11 or two, like across the 11 leagues. Yeah, we could get past that. All right, I have no life. All right, leave me alone.
Any NFC East rivals in there?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. All right,
100%.
I didn't know if you were that guy that's like, I'm not drafting CeeDee Lamb.
No,
you know?
I'm not that. I took Cowboys minus 4.5 last week. That was one of my picks. Didn't work out for me, clearly. Kind of thought
same
that.
Here. I was right there with you, Ray.
It looked like on paper that was going to be like the lock.
Looked like a great line.
No.
Looked like I'm also doing for the first time this year a loser pool, where instead of picking a winner every week, you have to pick a team to lose every week.
Interesting.
Which week 1 was the Giants, nailed that.
Yeah.
Week 2 was the Browns, nailed that. Debating tonight going Dolphins.
Yes.
But I'm wondering if
you want to need to save the Dolphins for later after they fire Mike McCarthy.
Well, no. Once they fire Mike McDaniel, they're going to have the ultimate interim coach bump where they will win a game.
Temporary, yes.
Yes, they will win a game. And I hope they don't fire Mike McDaniel. We talked about this yesterday. It's
highly entertaining.
Very entertaining.
But
unless he gets hired by some sort of media company mid-season, Mike Malone style.
Just put him on social media.
Or that. I would sign up for that. Also, do we have yet the information from our text winner from the Guest Walk of Fame?
We do not.
Oh, text in 610-632-0975.
I'm
You're the first. No. We have a winner. They haven't texted the information back.
They didn't.
Austin doesn't get your information.
We got to know who you are.
If I get to the end of this segment, you're not used to that, man. I know you. Listen, you're in a very happy relationship. But back in the day, I'm sure you got text back all the time.
No comment.
I'm sure you were not a guy left on red. All right, that's very, very evident by the swagger you carry yourself with. He didn't get left on red a lot. That man got a text back every time.
Is Ray done blushing over me right now, Amy?
I know. I think
showing a little bit of love here.
He's glazing you a little bit.
Whoa. Jeez. Amy, back-to-back days with some references that I didn't expect out of you. I got a text about that.
The 6-7?
Yeah.
I was saying 6, 7, 8, 9. Somewhere Shawnee's like cringing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, Amy knows what's going on. All
Sure.
right.
Social media.
Speaking of what's going on, we're gonna
What is going on?
We're gonna
Let's
reset here.
Get back on track, shall we?
Go to the Phils here. The Phillies, they lose last night. Everyone outside of Amy Fadul, Ricky Pitalico, Ben Davis,
Bob Cooney was out there for us.
Bob was also out there. Yeah. Oh, good old Bobby. I love seeing Bobby see Pop on my television.
Yeah, he's peppering questions to Rob Thompson. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I do like taking a picture of my television. I don't send it to him every time now because I think he gets annoyed with me, but it's fun. It's fun television. It's good theater. But one of the things that he and the press group before the game learned that they're reshuffling their rotation. So we're going to get and this is Rob Thompson tried to make it funny. And I appreciate his effort here with saying it's going to be a Walker-Buehler stack.
We were very excited. So you missed it. We did talk about that quite a bit on the post-game show. A little bit on the pregame when it was announced for those who were watching at 9:30, which was a much more acceptable time than the 1 o'clock, which I totally understand if you weren't locked in.
Yes, the Walker-Buehler stack for Friday.
So it's a piggyback situation for Friday.
Yes, Taijuan Walker, then Walker-Buehler. They're lining up Christopher Sanchez for game 1. That's the whole idea of this.
So you have Walker-Buehler on Friday, you'll have Nola on Saturday, and then you'll have Ranger on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And then Sanchez would start basically the last game of the season, which would then line him up for game one of the NLDS on October 4th.
Right. Basically, the perfect amount of rest all lined up for you. So understand it from that perspective. Right thing to do.
Yes. And it's fun to have Walker-Buehler.
Correct. Could I say that maybe I would have preferred a Buehler-Walker stack? It doesn't sound as good because it's not the guy's name. But if we're going to stack the Walkers.
Well, I feel like it's probably because if you're going to have Taijuan Walker pitch in that one, early is better. The first go-around is probably better for Taijuan Walker.
I guess. Here's the thing. They've made it clear just by every reporter's reporting and the way that obviously they brought him in late in the season. They don't view Walker-Buehler as a starter in the postseason.
No, they do
Which
not.
is fine. He's not been good this season. But to suggest that the other right-handers on this team have been.
Yeah.
Like everyone's good. I can already hear it. Taijuan Walker for a fourth starter has been perfectly fine this year. You're correct. Taijuan Walker, I will say it. This is what I truly believe. He's hit that innings threshold through the last 5 starts where he goes over 100 innings for a season and he starts to fade. It's been a fact throughout his career. That's just been who he is. Taijuan's a nice guy. I appreciate everything he did through this season. Did I think he was going to bounce back the way he has this season? No. So he gets all the credit in the world for that. But he's not entering my mind as someone that's going to pitch in the postseason as a starter. Maybe mop-up duty here or there.
Yeah.
Maybe a starter gets bounced early and he has to come in and pitch a couple innings for you. That's fine. He's got a 7.20 ERA in his last 5 starts. He's hit that part of the season. He's hit that second part of the season. Again, go look through his career. This has been something that's happened to him continuously. When he signed here, I was on the air that night. I believe it was our old buddy Tyler was hosting that night, and I was on the air, and I just remember us going back and forth about the signing, and it was like, yeah, for the first, half of the season, up until the All-Star break, he'll be potentially an All-Star for you. That's what he's shown you. Second half of the season, he tends to fade. So I'm not really looking at him as a starter. Aaron Nola. I'm as big an Aaron Nola guy as there is. Just penciling him in as the fourth starter terrifies me. If he starts as one of those 3 guys, I want to be I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it, Amy. I'm going to lose it in the DS.
It's going to happen.
The 3 that pitched in LA this week should be the 3 to start a postseason series. 3 lefties. That's the way it should be. I can't do the Nola starting in a 3-game series. I could do it game 4 in NLCS. If we see it in the NLDS, Amy, I'm going to lose it.
Okay,
and if we're not on the air together, I'm gonna call you on the phone and I'm just gonna scream into the phone.
I'm losing it. I don't know that it's going to happen because on paper you shouldn't need it. The idea that you have to have you have to have a righty thrown in there, I think is too. You're too set in your old ways.
Right.
If you force that issue.
They're different lefties.
They are. They all 3 of them pitch differently.
Yeah.
They're all 3 very distinct pitchers. But I think that you need to keep in the back of your mind that it might happen. so you can lose it.
It shouldn't.
But yeah, so on paper, then it would be the 3 lefties, and then Game 4 would be Aaron Nola.
Right. I
don't think that that's okay.
I just
But there's an idea that people would want to go left, right.
kind of wish that that we didn't abandon this Buehler thing so quickly. Not that I think his 5 innings that I watched on Friday night where there's
5 innings
tremendous
in the major leagues, and then atrocious with the Red Sox, released in August. He made one very, very short outing at Lehigh Valley. Very short.
Yes,
3 innings.
first pitch, first batter,
like-
goodbye. I get it. I understand.
Not a whole lot there. I feel like this is like how my golf game is. Like people are like, do you like the range? No, because I'm going to waste all my good shots on the golf range. Because when I go to the range, it looks great. I'm hitting everything great. I go on the course. I'm like, no. So Walker Buehler probably has very limited. I'm not using it.
Walker Buehler and Aaron Nola, regardless of who it would be in that 4th game, neither one of them goes beyond 5 innings for me.
Well, yes.
They
Very quick hooks.
Yes. But my point in saying this is I would have liked to see Buehler get a little bit longer of a cameo.
Okay.
Just, again, not because I think he's been tremendous, but as bad as he was to get released, you know who's actually statistically been worse this year? Aaron Nola.
Yeah. This is an anomaly on Aaron Nola's
I know.
career. It really is. But it is happening.
It's happening.
Yeah, you're looking at one good start as opposed to one not so good start.
Right.
It's one in a sea of really bad. Well, the last game, your theory would
Well,
prove
yeah.
well.
If they
5
take him out
innings,
after 5
that's it.
innings, it would have
5
been a
innings.
different
Shohei
world for him.
Ohtani left after 5 innings.
Right.
Worked out fine for him.
And if Jesus
That
Luzardo
bullpen
had
is
messed after 7 last night.
7.
would've been-
One extra. Just put to face.
He's still
Ohtani.
throwing 98 in the 8th.
Matt Gelb actually asked a good question about Matt Strahm the entire time did not face Shohei Ohtani, and if that was like designed.
Ooh.
And he said it wasn't. It was just the way. But last night would have been
I
a
believe
thought.
it. I believe it. I think it was designed. Also, when Gelb asks a question, I'll be honest. I always think when Gelb writes something, asks a question,
It was
it's
interesting
not
when-
just what pops.
when I heard
Gelb
him
has
ask
that
it,
like little bit
and
of
I was like-
information that he always.
Yeah, Jim Salisbury always has that vibe. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, what are you? But when he asked that it stuck out to me, and I looked back, and sure enough, like obviously Matt was right. That's why he was asking the question. But I was like, oh, Matt Strahm didn't. But also, this is a team. It was such an interesting series because the Dodgers are a team that you could face again, and likely could face again. And so, do you not want them to get the book on some of your relievers? I don't know.
I mean, they got the book on all 3 stars, so they're probably going to see.
They're going to be fine.
Yeah, no, they'll be fine.
They play the Dodgers
Now,
well.
Speaking of playing the Dodgers well, should we be rooting for a different team to play the Dodgers in the first round of the postseason?
Then,
Well, there's an opponent coming this weekend. Phillies could do a lot to change some things in the National League playoff picture.
it's crazy that the Diamondbacks are in this conversation.
It is. We'll examine it coming up. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincade.
How much were you shocked or maybe surprised by how Fangio attacked the Chiefs defensively and how Spagnuolo attacked the Eagles?
I was really impressed and taken aback a little bit by how Vic Fangio approached that game because he didn't send a single blitz in Super Bowl 59. And I believe, according to True Media, there was 11 blitzes on Sunday. So they were a lot more aggressive than they have been traditionally. And I think when you know that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have a lot of optionality in terms of the passing game, that's where you're able to sell out and be a little bit more confident in that and then let your players rally to the football and clean up. They also had really good rush discipline in the second half, especially because early on, Patrick Mahomes, their primary source of offense was him picking up yards with his legs. And then for Spagnuolo, just aggressive. I thought that his defense really pinned their ears back and got after the Eagles quite a bit. And from a pass blocking perspective, I thought there were moments that the Eagles' offensive line gave him a lot of time. There were 4 or 5 seconds that Jaylen Hurts was standing back there. But then there were other moments where I thought that the Chiefs and Steve Spagnuolo dialed it up correctly. But, yeah, it was a good chess match.
Did you feel the absence of Dallas Goedert yesterday?
Definitely. Absolutely. I mean, on the first play of the game, Leo Chenal, the linebacker for Kansas City, gets off the edge. Calcaterra whiffs on the block that doesn't get a hand on him and gets to Jaylen Hurts. And, I mean, Kylan Granson, I didn't think that he's not an inline blocker. That's really not what he's here to do. But he saw that the Eagles played a lot of 12 personnel, and then Cameron Latu was in for about 6 plays. He was way more effective in that area. But you definitely felt the impact from Dallas Goedert, especially as a blocker, but also in the early stages of that game where I thought the Eagles were trying to force some things down the field and not necessarily take what was being given to them. That's where those short dump-offs, those intermediate completions to Dallas Goedert really settles that offense in and gets them headed in the right direction.
And coming up later this segment, your next chance to get entered to win a pair of tickets to see Riley Green with our guest, the Walk of Famer. You've been out to, alongside Amy Fadul, I'm right down singing to Middays. Have you been to the Walk of Fame?
Yes, I have.
Very underwhelming.
It's nondescript. You're just literally walking down, and sometimes you'll look down and be like, oh,
Yeah.
I've entered the Walk of Fame area because it's just on the sidewalk. I mean, obviously there's some that are more clustered, and so you'll see people like by it,
Right.
You know, like they're stopping to take pictures or whatever. But it's not like Man's Chinese Theater where there's like the footprints and stuff where it's a little bit more like that's a scene. You can see it, you go visit it. This is more like you're just walking down and you look and like, oh, outside of the convenience store here's
that's
Greta Garbo or whomever.
kind of. It's not like
Lame.
well kept.
It's kind of lame sometimes though.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Hollywood. I was like, this is what you fight your entire life to get to. You know,
It's just a star.
that's what I'm just saying.
It's an odd process. Austin was illuminating me into the process of getting it done. Like someone has to sponsor it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, because I just watched one where I think it was John Goodman just got a star. And I was like, how is that possible? And DJ Khaled's on there.
What are you trying to say about DJ Khaled?
I'm saying he's not been around as long as John
we
Goodman.
the best.
All he does is win.
That's right.
So
All he does is get a star.
that someone sponsored for him.
Yeah, so we'll get to that coming up. I got our next chance to win. We'll see if Austin can improve from his 1-for-2 record. We got Sal from Philly that got entered to win the tickets in the most recent, yes, the Walk of Famer. But we have a chance for what I'm going to call the NL PTSDS.
Okay.
Because the Dodgers obviously are the 3 seed. Right now, the battle for the 6 seed includes both the Mets and the Diamondbacks.
Right.
Which, regardless of how secure you feel about this Phillies team, you do have memories of both of those teams in recent postseasons ruining your life. And I'm curious, going into this weekend, the Mets right now have one more against the Padres tonight. They are 78-74. Now, if they win tonight against the Padres, they put themselves in a really good spot, being 2 games up on the Diamondbacks with 9 games left in the season. Let's say for a second they lose. Why not? This is talk radio. We could just...
You throw anything out there.
Yeah, exactly.
These are all
fake
hypotheticals.
Trades, fake games, hypothetical world. The Mets, with the 1.5-game lead over the Diamondbacks, have the Padres, 3 against the Nationals, 3 at the Cubs, 3 at the Marlins to end their season. The Diamondbacks have 3 at home against the Phillies, 3 at home against the Dodgers, and 3 on the road against the Padres. Not exactly a fun schedule when both the Padres and Dodgers are playing for the Western Division crown.
Yep.
And the right to host a postseason series. Because the winner of the West will be the 3. The loser of the West is going to likely be the 5. So you have to go on the road to Wrigley Field for a wild card series.
Bananas.
Not very fun.
It's actually crazy.
Right.
The National League is stacked this year.
Yeah.
There's some really good teams that are in danger of either falling out of the playoffs entirely or are like barely scraped. Like the Padres,
Yes.
who went all in at the trade
$340
deadline.
million Mets.
Incredible.
Who I believe, if we take this exercise aside, I believe they will end up being the 6th seed. But
think about it. The 6th seed, they're going to barely
Right.
hang on. It's incredible.
is there a world that the Phillies should just kind of lay down this weekend?
No.
Just kind of like, hey, team that sold at
Hey.
the deadline.
Hey, Diamondbacks, you didn't think you'd be here.
Here's 3 of them.
No.
It's not the right thing to do.
I see what you're saying, so they can set it up so you will set up your like you set up your game 1 starter, you can set up your opponent. I always caution you about that though, because sometimes when you think that you know who you want to play, you don't want to play.
Which brings you to 2011, when you chased the franchise record in
100,
wins,
yep.
and you knocked the Braves out, and the Cardinals showed up to town. I'm not saying that it's what you should do, but I'm also not saying that if
You're not
Rob
saying
Thompson winked into the camera and was like, "We're putting all of it out there
We
this
got
weekend."
Walker Bueller's piggyback game, and it's okay.
Why is Taijuan Walker on pitch 120 of this game?
Interesting.
I'm just saying. Now, there is the team that's still lurking in the darkness here that I've promised I would eat Skyline Chili if they helped us out with the 1 seed, which doesn't look like it's going to happen at all. With the Reds that have 4 against the Cubs, 3 against the Pirates, and 3 against the Brewers, they have the tiebreaker over the Mets, and they're 2 games back. Mm-hmm. Now, the Mets are in the situation where right now, because things can change, a lot of division games left to be played for both sides. The second tiebreaker is the intra-division record. Now, it doesn't matter. They're in different divisions. The Mets NL East record is worse than the Diamondbacks NL West record because their head-to-head's tied at 3-3. Mm-hmm. So right now, the Mets don't have the tiebreaker of the 2 teams behind them. The Giants, I'm sorry, San Francisco, I've forgotten all about you. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over between you and us. You don't have the tiebreaker over the Mets. You got 2 games
serve no
back.
purpose.
I tried to flirt with you there for a little while. We're done.
You serve no purpose.
Bay Area and I, no longer my bay. Get out. We're done. But the Mets don't have the tiebreaker over either the 2 teams right behind them, in the Diamondbacks and the Reds. The Reds are lurking in the background a little bit. The Mets lose tonight. It's a 1-game difference between them and the Diamondbacks. I'm not saying that you should lay down, but
I caution you against setting up
I
any
know.
kind of opponent, and you're playing good baseball right
I
now.
know.
You're riding high.
I
You only
know.
have 3 series left.
Which
Let's
is why
finish
I can't-
September on a high note.
which is why I can't do it because the whole
But you're
let's-
saying you're not going to be disappointed.
like if they lose 2 or 3 of the Diamondbacks this weekend in some hard-fought games, and Diamondbacks don't see any of your pitching, and Diamondbacks end up making the playoffs and end up taking out the Dodgers for you, I welcome that NLDS. That'll be my revenge tour.
And that's another thing. Yeah, it's I'm good with a revenge tour as long as you've set yourself up and you're playing your best baseball.
Yeah.
Set yourself up to play the best baseball,
Right.
not set yourself up by losing.
I know.
I'm not.
I'm not advocating for it, and they're not going to do it. So
that smirk in your face, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, if we show up here Monday and they lose 2 or 3 of the Diamondbacks, the
You're gonna
Diamondbacks
be
are in a
like-
playoff picture. I'm not necessarily going to be upset, is what I'm saying. Okay. I'm just the way. Also, while I'm on this conversation about postseason baseball, before we get to the next guest, the Walk of Famer, I asked for one thing 2 days ago. Neither one of you were here. It was Sean Rodman and I. I said I needed one Philadelphian to help out the local ball club. I needed one Philadelphian to step up. Do either of you know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
No.
Mike Trout. I asked one thing from you, and that was to try and help the Phillies out against the Brewers.
I mean, come on.
0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts in 2 games. They lost 9-2 both nights. I wanted one thing for you. I wanted you to secure your Philadelphia legacy here. And now the Brewers have won back-to-back games, and the 1 seed's out of reach. Whatever. I just needed to point that out because when I asked for something,
You expect it.
I expected a little bit more. Jeez. All right.
Over.
Your next guest, you did get a walk in there. Don't worry. Your next Guess the Walk of Famer. You ready for this, Austin?
Let's do it.
All right, so for people that have not heard it, Guess the Walk of Famer. I give 3 clues. You text it at 610-632-0975 to be entered to win our pair of tickets to see Riley Green. We have 4 pairs of tickets. There'll be 8 entries, so 50% chance if you're that first texter to get it right. You can join Sal and John as our qualified entrants already. The 3 clues. How I Met Your Mother, Broadway Theater, and the Smurfs. 610-632-0975. Now, I want to make this very clear. If you're guessing, know that for a certain How I Met Your Mother
I got it.
participant, actor, there is a certain movie that I would have given that I've called my favorite movie of all time if it was that person. I did not give that as a clue. It's How I Met Your Mother,
Yes.
Broadway Theater, and the Smurfs. You
I
can
got
guess
it.
at 610-632-0975. The first text to get it correct.
I got it.
Entered to get the tickets.
I had to think on
Austin?
that one for a second.
You are 1 for 2.
There's no way. You
1
didn't-
for 2.
You didn't give the most obvious clue. For some folks, they would have gotten it right away.
I'm going to go with Neil Patrick Harris.
That's correct.
There you go, Doogie
There you
Howser.
go. There you go. Woof. Now, had it been Jason Segel, I would have. That would have been very obvious.
Yes, because
obviously.
you would have said
Forgetting Sarah
Sarah
Marshall, the greatest movie of all time.
That I probably would have blanked on. I can see the face, can't think of the name.
okay.
You take us to break. I can't even believe
That
that you
is
would say
un-
that to me.
That's
I can't even
unbelievable.
believe you would say that to me.
Well, I said it on live radio.
I can't
Sure
believe you'd say
did.
that
To
to me.
your face.
All right, coming back.
And
we're
out
going to
loud.
reset the show. And we played the Hurts comments for you earlier. If you missed it, we'll play it again. Do we take this as a rallying point or just an acknowledgement of a problem, given the opponent that you have this weekend? Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Dodgers shut out the Phillies last night 5-0 as Jesus Luzardo gave up 4 earned runs in 7 innings. On the other side, Blake Snell pitched 7 scoreless innings with 12 strikeouts. They'll be off tonight as they will go into Arizona to face the Diamondbacks tomorrow. The game will be started by Taijuan Walker and then piggybacked by Walker Buehler. First pitch is set for 9:40. With the Eagles offense being off to a slow start, Jaylen Hurts stated yesterday during his media session that he knows this offense can get into gear because they have the pieces.
Over the time that we've had success, offensive football has always been played at a high level here, been dynamic, and it's found ways to win. And we hope to continue to work to be able to do that. And we think that there are pieces and ways that we can improve, and we've been very critical of ourselves. And that starts with me being critical of myself.
Yesterday, the Eagles were on the practice field, and they welcomed back Dallas Goedert in a limited basis. Jalen Carter and Tatum McKee were also limited during practice as well. Olivia Rana from the Philadelphia Inquirer will join the show at 1:25. This update's brought to you by Bet365. Football is back. Get ready for the season at Bet365. Whenever it comes to sports books, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Austin Jones, and your home of the Bet Sports coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
How much were you shocked or maybe surprised by how Fangio attacked the Chiefs defensively and how Spagnuolo attacked the Eagles?
I was really impressed and taken aback a little bit by how Vic Fangio approached that game, because he didn't send a single blitz in Super Bowl 59. And I believe, according to True Media, there was 11 blitzes on Sunday. So they were a lot more aggressive than they have been traditionally. And I think when you know that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have a lot of optionality in terms of the passing game, that's where you're able to sell out and be a little bit more confident in that, and then let your players rally to the football and clean up. They also had really good rush discipline in the second half, especially because early on, Patrick Mahomes, their primary source of offense was him picking up yards with his legs. And then for Spagnuolo, just aggressive. I thought that his defense really pinned their ears back and got after the Eagles quite a bit. And from a pass blocking perspective, I thought there were moments that the Eagles' offensive line gave him a lot of time. There were 4 or 5 seconds that Jaylen Hurts was standing back there. But then there were other moments where I thought that the Chiefs and Steve Spagnuolo dialed it up correctly. But, yeah, it was a good chess match.
Did you feel the absence of Dallas Goedert yesterday?
Definitely. Absolutely. I mean, on the first play of the game, Leo Chenal, the linebacker for Kansas City, gets off the edge. Calcaterra whiffs on the block that doesn't get a hand on him and gets to Jaylen Hurts. And, I mean, Kylan Granson, I didn't think that he's not an inline blocker. That's really not what he's here to do. But he saw that the Eagles played a lot of 12 personnel, and then Cameron Latu was in for about 6 plays. He was way more effective in that area. But you definitely felt the impact from Dallas Goedert, especially as a blocker, but also in the early stages of that game where I thought the Eagles were trying to force some things down the field and not necessarily take what was being given to them. That's where those dump-offs, those intermediate completions to Dallas Goedert really settles that offense in and gets them headed in the right direction.
Welcome back. Midday Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Good work by our producer here, Austin Jones, in the last segment there. Getting Neil Patrick Harris is the correct answer for Guess the Walk of Famer. Now 2 for 3 he is. And also, Martin from Broomall entered to win the Riley Green ticket. So shout out to Martin doing a good job. We now have 3 entrants coming up in the next segment. Your next chance to get in on that game as we get you ready for the Birds game this weekend. Look back at some of the Phillies games of the week alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. Let's go to the text line here on what we've been into so far at 610-632-0975. Austin, what do we got there?
Yeah, so this is going back to the Rams conversation. How were you feeling towards the end of that divisional game? This texter said the Eagles pulled away, but then they took their foot off the gas, which the Rams took advantage of.
There you go. All right.
Still makes it a close game. Still had a chance to win it late. Them taking the foot off the gas for me was not so much, oh, yeah, we dominated. It was great. It was like, oh, maybe we should realize what time we're taking the foot off the gas here, guys.
Too much time left.
I think everyone had that sigh of relief with the Saquon run, including the team, and that's concerning for the team. I'm allowed to have the sigh of relief. You have to play the full 60.
Yeah, I hear you on that, and especially because it's Matt Stafford, and I do think that is something that they've, Vic Fangio was effusive in praise, as he should be, because they do have very good weapons. He talked about Tutu Atwell. He talked about Puka Nacua, obviously. But Matt Stafford is the engine that makes them go. And, yes, he has shown signs of his age.
Yeah. It's got a back prop. I
in
pulled my
football.
hamstring playing softball. Like, everyone
right.
shows your sign of age at some point.
But I
Mine
still
was a
feel
lot
like-
sooner than his.
I feel like there is that you have to have caution. It's a veteran team when it comes to certain of their skill positions. They've played together. Matt Stafford is one of the best out there. You cannot leave meat on the bone. You can't leave time out there for him to operate. And you saw that as they scored pretty quickly, but then they had to score again. And that's where I felt like, lightning's not going to strike twice.
All right. Hey.
But that's how I felt. Looking back, I probably, in it, maybe I was a little bit more like nervous, but now when you ask me right now how I thought about that, I never thought they were going to lose, so I felt pretty good.
I was very scared. I'll admit it. I was nervous. I was sweating. I was scared of what our Monday conversation was going to be about how they threw away a Super Bowl opportunity because they just took their foot off the gas too soon.
Alrighty, this is going back to the Bill Simmons conversation. I believe his take is a take from someone who does not respect defense. Even though the offense hasn't been flashy, watching our defense absolutely dominate is worth the price of admission.
And that's the conversation that I was kind of going for here with the open of the show today, where Bill Simmons compared watching the Eagles to watching paint dry. Mm-hmm. And there's the notion that what they do is not entertaining. And I find it entertaining. It's just in a different way. The dominating defense, like they have the most entertaining play in football with the tush push just because of the energy that surrounds it. Like it's like,
Right.
They're going to pick it up again. Is someone going to find a way to stop it? Oh, they picked it up again. That's fun. Enjoy that. That's entertaining to me. Their opportunistic defense, entertaining to me. They've got a turnover in 16 of the last 17 games, and usually it comes in a big way. And on top of that, while they haven't used their all-world talent to their all-world capabilities yet,
Right.
watching A.J. Brown fall to the ground and somehow snag a one-handed pass, I mean, come on. Like, one-handed catch right there,
Entertaining.
that's entertaining to me. That's entertaining. Devontae Smith, 50-50 ball, up in the air.
Entertaining.
Entertaining to me. Saquon, trying to dodge and weave through, entertaining. So, to me, even if you haven't gotten the all-world performance from the offense, your all-world players have made entertaining plays.
Yeah, and I think that you still got an all-world performance. You're just looking at it from the angle of there wasn't these big flashy plays where you have these deep balls and these explosive plays. That's the word, you were talking about.
On Monday, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
synchronization.
Oh, synchronization. Yes, from Jaylen Hurts, which Jalen Hurts.
I couldn't remember if it was synchronicity or synchronization.
He's used both. Both of it.
Synchronicity and synchronization.
He's looking to synchronize. Is really where he's going with this season.
You also heard the word explosive a lot because it was lacking that. It doesn't mean that it still wasn't effective, still wasn't entertaining. It still wasn't high quality football. I almost said high quality H2O. High quality football. But just
not
because,
going to be on our Walk of Fame conversation.
It will not. Oh, good to know. But that's the thing. So it's still a work in progress. It's week 2. Like, I don't know that people are going to be ready to wait around for like 3 or 4 more weeks, but certainly you do need to see signs of it. And I think if you really look at the all 22, you're going to see some signs that at least there was a plan for these explosive plays, even if they didn't come to fruition.
And Jaylen Hurts talked about taking accountability for the fact there wasn't. Here's your quarterback talking about the offense yesterday.
More importantly, just overall operation, how we function, how we flow, our synchronization. I take accountability for a lot of it. And just how we go out there, because that's my job. My job is to go out there and be the general, orchestrate everything, and ultimately make plays. And, given the opportunities we had, I'm very critical of myself of trying to make the most of what's given to us. And so there's definitely some evolution that we can do. There's definitely some things that we can grow in. But I look inward on all of those things and just want to make the most of the opportunities that we do have. And when you're able to do that and you win and you have a lot to learn from, you can be very critical of yourself on that. And that's something that I've done.
When you win and there's still a lot to learn from, you can be critical of yourself. Which leads me to this weekend. I remember last year's playoff game as a close game.
Yes.
They played what wasn't a close game against the Chiefs, but they respect the opponent of the Chiefs. If I remember last year's game against the Rams as a close game, they likely respect the opponent of the Rams. Mm-hmm. We could talk about them trying to open things up and make things happen, or we can realize against the opponents they respect, they try to play it more conservatively. Given the matchup this weekend, should we expect that comment from Hurts was us seeing a rallying point for this offense to open up, or
a reason why it's not going to?
Once again.
Yeah, I do think it's probably more of the latter than the former, unfortunately, because it's going to be another week of there's meat left on the bone. There's opportunities there. You can, with this defense, I contend that while you don't want to force it to the point where you're making errors, you have a very confident quarterback. You have 2 of the best receivers in the game. You should be able to throw it up just a little bit more and try to be a little bit more freelance, and you have one of the best defenses. You have a great defense. So you should be able to trust your defense that if you do somehow make a mistake, that they'll be able to get it back for you, and that you're not going to make a mistake and you're going to be able to capitalize on it. But I do think it's more of a setup of when I'm here again next week and we're talking about the same thing, this is what the defense gave us, this is what we're operating with. I do think it's that.
Basically saying, hey, we got the Broncos coming up in a couple weeks, maybe the Giants in a couple weeks.
Well,
that's what you wanted to see, huh? In a couple weeks.
Well, and that's what makes me think of, we had the same conversation. It was right before the Steelers game last year. And they were talking about you got to get A.J. Brown the ball. I mean, because at that point, you're well into the season. And I thought, I guess there's some teams that I might try it against. Steelers maybe weren't one of them. Their secondary wasn't great, but they obviously have a tremendous pass rush. They have one of the best guys in T.J. Watt. They did it. A.J. Brown went crazy, and then Jaylen Hurts comes out and says, is that what you guys wanted to see? And so I think there is that moment. I don't know that it'll be this week, but I think that moment is coming sooner rather than later.
Is it a rallying point? Or is it just letting you know we know that there is more to be had? That's the question I ask you at 610-632-0975. Speaking of passing games, is this the final Adoree Jackson week at cornerback 2? I only ask because we talked to Jeff Mosher earlier this week, and the way he described the way they might deploy the corners in this one would suggest, oh boy, we're in for a Sunday. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Attention, Delaware Valley, 97.5.
I'm not going to say Jaylen Hurts doesn't have to play a little bit better. Of course he does.
He did not have his greatest game.
Yeah, of course.
No, first half.
Yeah, of course he does. Of course Kevin Patullo has to evolve the offense a little bit more. Of course you want to see them take some shots down the field more. But this team does find ways to win games, and that's important. And again, we're not saying this about a team that wasn't extremely successful last year. You're talking about a team now that has won how many straight games? Was it like 18 out of their last 19? And the only game they lost was when Jaylen Hurts goes out with a concussion in the first half. Like, at what point do we start to just trust and say, you know what, this Philadelphia Eagles team does what they have to do, no matter what. They know how to win football games.
I think I've gotten to that point with this team. I believe that this team is the best team in football every time they step out on the field. Why do you think you're getting this type of effort against other teams? Because they know that. They know that if they go on the field and half-ass it, they're going to get wiped right off of that field.
Let me give you a little Sirianni love.
Oh, boy.
Because
Knew
with that win yesterday, Nick Sirianni improved his record to 50-20. That's a winning percentage of .714, which leapfrogged George Allen. He now has the second highest winning percentage all time, only behind John Madden.
I'm the smartest coach in the world.
Is that pretty good?
Pretty
So
damn
much
good.
You know what? I mean, think about his whole time period here. He comes out with the fertilizer at first. Nobody believes in him. Now all of a sudden, take a look around. Take a look around at Eagles fans and ask them if they believe in Nick Sirianni. There is no other answer. The answer is yes.
You would hope.
And the one thing that kind of sits on me is that I look at the players and listen to what the players say. The players all love him.
Yeah,
name a player who is, you know what? They went through that hell 2 years ago. How many players stuck up for Sirianni? Almost all of them, if not all of them.
Yeah, he seems to be liked by the players, and all he does is win. I mean, it's very similar to Jaylen Hurts. Both of them have their critics. Both of them have people who didn't believe in them and maybe still want to fight back every chance they get. But you talk about a quarterback and a head coach that win more than anybody.
Welcome back into the Midday Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. I made the mistake of reading the YouTube chat right before we came back to break. They got me. I'm not going to read what they said, but they made me laugh. Okay? I would like to say... No, never mind. I'm not saying anything. I'm going to be kind here. Want to let you know, though, the Flyers training camp live broadcast. You can join Bill Colarulo from Unfiltered for a special Flyers preseason broadcast this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Fans are invited to see training camp at the Flyers Training Center in Voorhees for a free event. You can see some of your Flyers favorites back in action for scrimmages. You get a chance for the first time to see him coached by Rick Tocchet, new head coach. Enjoy games, giveaways, and prizes, the Flyers merch truck, appearances by Gritty, and more. Click events at 975thefanatic.com for all the information. So Billy C. making his way out there. Billy C. back to his roots, working a Saturday morning. Now, I'm so old. I remember when he was working Saturday mornings. I remember listening on Saturday morning. Bill Colarulo guy really likes his Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
You know? That was like,
Little did you know how much
you're going to work with the guy. I don't know.
he's going to come up with a song for it.
Yeah. What a world we've lived in. But yeah, Billy C will be down there in Fort. He's looking forward to that this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Talking about some birds here, talking about what this Eagles team will do. We'll have your opportunity in a couple minutes here for our guest, the Walk of Famer, your chance to be qualified to win the pair of tickets to see Riley Green next summer at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. But with this Eagles conversation, we've talked about the passing game from the Eagles side of things, the passing game from the Rams side of things. Now, they were able to expose a bad Titans team, which, is what it is. They were able to make things happen. Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua. We spoke with Jeff Mosher on Tuesday, and Jeff went inside football. Like, he went X's and O's, breaking down good football, high-quality, entertaining football conversation from one Jeff Mosher. He broke down the corner deployment so far for the Birds.
Yeah.
And why this weekend, if you have Puka Nacua in fantasy, you might feel good about yourself. Listen to him describe the way Fangio might deploy things this weekend.
People I speak to, whether they're coaches, coordinators, players on defense, like to put their best corner on the boundary, all right, and then their second guy best on the field. For whatever reason, Vic put Mitchell on the field and Adoree Jackson on the boundary. So we've seen two different usages of Mitchell in the first two games, unconventionally, and now you're going to see sort of like what you saw with the Cowboys, two really good receivers in Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Nacua moves around a lot like Lamb. So I imagine if Vic wants to repeat what he did week one, he's going to put Mitchell on Devontae Adams and keep him there. And that's going to put Jackson on Nacua for the most part. And that didn't work out great for Jackson against CeeDee Lamb. And Nacua is just as short-handed, almost, they're both really, really good and play the game similarly. A little bit bigger, Nacua is. So I'm just sort of fascinated to see how Vic employs his corners in this game and strategizes, knowing that the Rams receivers are really good and will pose a threat to Adoree.
Adoree Jackson on Puka Nacua
in
a similar way that you saw Adoree Jackson in week one.
Yeah, I like that Moshe put it as like, see which receivers put the threat of their. Yes. The answer is yes. Anybody that is going to be out there, they're going to obviously have Puka, but you could put anybody. They're going to salivate when they watch the tape on Adoree Jackson. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be working just like he did in week one. And my gosh, he's got to go better. This is it, though. At the beginning of the season, Vic Fangio was asked, and he literally said he's going to have quite a longer leash. 3 weeks is a pretty long leash.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember listening to that on Tuesday as he said it, and I was like, oh.
He said it, and you're like, all right. Well, you didn't know if it was in the context of the season for the longer leash, or if it was in the context of one game. I think it is. It's probably game to game. He showed a little bit more last week, but who was he going against? I mean, if you get beat by Juju Smith-Schuster, you should just hang it up. I mean, that guy does. He's not that. That's not a burner.
Right, and this is where I'm not going to take my football guyness against Jeff Mosher's football guyness. Jeff Mosher's wins every day of the week.
Yeah.
But let's go outside the box thinking here. Nakua, who can play inside if they want him to,
right,
will move around a lot because this offense uses motion more than anyone else in football, and that's the way McVay.
Entertaining.
But the way McVay wants to play. Is it the worst thing if we do the whole Cooper DeJean Nakua matchup instead? Because he's not technically an outside corner in that regard, and if we want to say that he's played outside corner and base defense in practice,
right, as opposed to
having a Dory Jackson chasing around Nakua, is having Cooper DeJean chase him around more the plan this idea.
I mean, that's a better option.
Right.
Because it would be chasing around with him, Puka Nakua running wild behind Adoree Jackson. Cooper DeJean would be able to, at least I would think, be able to keep it in front. If you're running in that, the problem is, are they going to stick with that? Are they only going to run him over the middle? And then what do you do?
I'm just curious if that's a way that you end up doing this that's not having Adoree Jackson chasing around Nakua. That feels like my one scenario that might solve this for everyone.
Because Nakua does run that more often than not, and it is more comfortable for DeJean to be in that role, given how he currently plays. Yeah, and the fact the way that Adoree Jackson, you already saw how it went.
Right.
Against CeeDee Lamb. You don't need to see it again.
Nope.
I'm all good.
Nope, Dan. No, thank you. No, thank you. And Fangio was quick this week to mention that one of those busted coverages over the top was Adoree Jackson. They just threw him right.
Those are my favorite. The coordinator press conferences are usually not super entertaining.
That one's wildly entertaining.
Fangio is always must see. One, he always starts with something about the Phillies. Always.
Correct. He did have the magic number at that point incorrect.
That's okay. It was late night.
Show of accountability here.
It was a late night. It was a late night.
Everybody's got to be accountable.
Wrong. But he's always talking about the Phils, which I appreciate. I think, honestly, if you asked him, like, if he'd rather give his press conference on his thoughts on the Phillies or the defense, he would absolutely choose Phillies.
He could do an hour with us here if he wants to talk Phillies. But I won't ask him anything about the defense. He's not going to give me anything. I'll ask him just Phillies questions.
But when he does talk about the defense, he calls players on the carpet.
Yep.
He makes everybody accountable. Even if you had a great game, he's going to find it. His constructive criticism will come through, which I appreciate. I love it. It's my favorite press conference.
I've had some constructive criticism so far for Austin on his performance with our guest, the Walk of Famer.
It was a tough start, but he's bounced back nicely.
I'm still disappointed over the first one. There's a world where he's 3 for 3 right now, and we're talking about how incredible this has been. But our game, guess the Walk of Famer. 3 clues. Text in at 610-632-0975. If the first one to text in, you're the one entered to get the pair of tickets to see Riley Green next August 2026. All right. We ready for the 3 clues? Capital One. Catch me if you can. 13 going on 30. 610-632-0975. Your 3 clues. Text in who I am talking about, the Walk of Famer I'm talking about. Of course, this is honor of LA Week, playing both the Dodgers and the Rams. Capital One. Catch me if you can. 13 going on 30. 610-632-0975. You have had time to think over there, Austin Jones.
Austin,
you are
through.
2 for 3. Can he make it 3 in a row?
I got the only person I could think of, Capital One, Samuel Jackson.
No. No. Come on. It's Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner was the correct answer there.
Oh, Jennifer. Wait, what was that movie? What was the movie that she was in? Something.
What? The 2 I have listed here.
No, not 13 going on 30. It's something when she was kind of like a mercenary. What was that? I can't think about it. What was that?
He's asking for my movie knowledge, which you should know.
I'll have to look it up, but I didn't get it right.
She was in the movie with Ben Affleck. Like the
married to
Marvel
Ben
movie.
Affleck, right?
Yes, they were married. They
for quite a while.
Children. Yes.
Yeah. They were at the same Red Sox game I was at.
When he was He was a superhero. I'll think of it.
Again, asking me for movies not going to really work for anyone here. Yeah. But they were at the same Red Sox game I was at back in July.
She was in that. I know what movie you're talking about, Austin. I'm going to pull up the name for you. But yes, she's been in a lot of movies. Very popular.
She is. Capital One. Well known for her spokesperson work.
Samuel L. Jackson did do Capital One, though.
He did.
Right?
He did.
Okay, all right.
But he also Samuel Jackson was definitively not in 13 going on 30 with Mark Ruffalo.
I knew that, but I had to say it. I can't just be saying it.
Ricky Bo got that from home.
She was in Alias, which is a show.
Yes.
And then Elektra is maybe.
Yes, Elektra.
That's what you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking.
I was thinking of Daredevil.
The first person that texted in at 610-632-0975, you got it. Coming up, we got NFL Notes at noon. We'll figure out who was the first one to text in, Jennifer Garner, and we'll get back to our Eagles and Phillies conversation. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Dodgers shut out the Phillies last night 5-0 as Jesus Luzardo gave up 4 runs across 7 innings. On the other side, Blake Snell pitched 7 scoreless innings with 12 strikeouts. They'll be off tonight, but they'll be back in action tomorrow against the Diamondbacks. Taijuan Walker is set to start, and then Walker Buehler will be in relief. So essentially, it's kind of like a bullpen game. First pitch is set for 9:40. With the Eagles being offense being off to a slow start, Jaylen Hurts stated yesterday during his media session that he knows this offense can get in gear because they have the right pieces.
Over the time that we've had success, offensive football has always been played at a high level here, been dynamic, and it's found ways to win. And we hope to continue to work to be able to do that. And we think that there are pieces and ways that we can improve, and we've been very critical of ourselves. And that starts with me being critical of myself.
Yesterday, the Eagles were back on the practice field. They welcomed back Dallas Goedert to the field in a limited basis, as well as Jalen Carter and Tanner McKee, who were both limited as well. Olivia Reiner from the Philadelphia Inquirer joined the show at 1:25. This update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free, and you get back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm not going to say Jaylen Hurts doesn't have to play a little bit better. Of course he does.
He did not have his greatest game.
Yeah, of course.
No, first half.
Yeah, of course he does. Of course Kevin Patullo has to evolve the offense a little bit more. Of course you want to see them take some shots down the field more. But this team does find ways to win games, and that's important. And again, we're not saying this about a team that wasn't extremely successful last year. You're talking about a team now that has won how many straight games? Was it like 18 out of their last 19? And the only game they lost was when Jaylen Hurts goes out with a concussion in the first half. Like, at what point do we start to just trust and say, you know what, this Philadelphia Eagles team does what they have to do, no matter what? They know how to win football games.
I think I've gotten to that point with this team. I believe that this team is the best team in football every time they step out on the field. Why do you think you're getting this type of effort against other teams? Because they know that. They know that if they go on the field and half-ass it, they're going to get wiped right off of that field.
Let me give you a little Sirianni love.
Oh, boy.
Because with that win yesterday, Nick Sirianni improved his record to 50-20. That's a winning percentage of .714, which leapfrogged George Allen. He now has the second highest winning percentage all time, only behind John Madden.
I'm the smartest coach in the world.
Is that pretty good?
Pretty
So
damn
much
good.
good.
You know what? I mean, think about think about his whole time period here. He comes out with the fertilizer at first. Nobody believes in him. Now all of a sudden, take a look around. Take a look around at Eagles fans and ask them if they believe in Nick Sirianni. There is no other answer. The answer is yes.
You would hope.
And the one thing that kind of sits on me is that I look at the players and listen to what the players say. The players all love them.
Yeah,
name a player who is, you know what? They went through that hell 2 years ago. How many players stuck up for Sirianni? Almost all of them, if not all of them.
Yeah, he seems to be liked by the players, and all he does is win. I mean, it's very similar to Jaylen Hurts. Both of them have their critics. Both of them have people who didn't believe in them and maybe still want to fight back every chance they get. But you talk about a quarterback and a head coach that win more than anybody.
Here on WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, and you either, don't get to do it, or you end up doing it so long that you become the villain here. And I've been sitting in this chair too long. I was told that I made my heel turn in the 11 o'clock hour. That was what the YouTube chat was saying, that my suggestion that maybe the Diamondbacks winning this series over the weekend could lead to an easier opponent in the in the divisional series. I was told that was my heel turn.
It was.
And our good buddy Brandon in the back cut up our conversation about the postseason rotation.
This is good.
And captured it on Instagram. Taijuan Walker shouldn't be a part of the postseason rotation, to which someone responded, nothing, you little punk. Just because you have a platform on talk radio doesn't mean you get to criticize Walker as a legitimate postseason starter for the Phillies. Wait until he's pitching in the World Series as a starter. If he pitches in the World Series as a starter, you and I will go out and get beers together.
Yes. William
Lamp something, I don't know. But I think officially, if you were wondering when is too much Ray, we've hit the too much Ray portion of the program.
That's an unfair caption. The conversation was how...
It's fine. It's what I said.
It is. But he wasn't on the postseason roster last year. Correct?
He hasn't been. He's been top step Taijuan. That's been his role.
He's like a cheer guy, so you're not rooting for his demise. That makes it seem like you're rooting for his demise.
No,
you were pointing out the fact that
his demise might be happening.
He's a first half guy.
Yeah,
he's a first half of the season guy.
Whew. Too much Ray Dunn. People have had it. It's too much. All right, we're just about past 12 o'clock, so we're going to get to our NFL notes at noon in a second here. Greg from Eagleville has been entered to win with the Jennifer Gardner correct answer. Ricky Batalico was too late, also not eligible to win. But yeah, Jennifer Gardner, then it became an argument in the YouTube chat over her best roles. Dawood, I'm going to call you out here. He thought we were talking about Jennifer Lawrence. He said Hunger Games was one of her best roles. Not exactly the same
different Jennifer.
Yeah, we also got some Anne Hathaway text messages as well. Not.
All tremendous actresses in their own respect.
I wonder if Anne Hathaway is on the Walk of Fame.
I can tell you she's not going to be an answer now.
That would be Devil Wears Prada instead of 13 going on 30.
Yes.
I was a fan of her role in Rio as the animation.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
She is on the Walk of Fame.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Very good actress.
All right. Austin Jones, you are 2 for 4 in Walk of Fame, but this is all about the NFL. NFL Notes at noon. Hit the music.
Alrighty, guys. So we all know that the Tush push and the Eagles have been a topic of conversation, and that is going to continue throughout the course of time. Well, I want to jump to Good Morning Football co-host, I guess you say, Kyle Brandt, who was trying to say that perhaps the Eagles are the new villain. Here's a clip from yesterday's show. Tune in because it is a little lengthy.
Let's look at the Eagles. The head coach, check. Yes. Now, what I mean by that is I like Nick Sirianni, but he is not one of these figures like Andy Reid, who's just across the board lovable and everybody likes him. He's polarizing, okay? Big check there. The quarterback, I like him. Jaylen Hurts has some things that the everyman fan does not like about him. He is really handsome. That can work against you. He has a distinct way of speaking in press conferences that is off-putting to some people. I think there's some of that. Plus, he's the face of the Tush push. We'll get to that more in a bit. Fan base? Oh, yeah. Big check. Infamous fan base, off-putting to some people, not for everybody. The general manager, check. Howie Roseman's coming up with too many dubs. People get annoyed by someone who's that successful that often. Now, you got to have a wild card if you want true fan dislike, all right? For the Patriots, it was all their collection of gates and the appearance of impropriety. And for the Eagles, it's a tush push. It is a hugely controversial thing that I think this past weekend against the Chiefs took a massive jump in terms of being hated, being controversial, because it appears to be an illegal play now, not just a polarizing one. So there are some things going for the Eagles in terms of likability, but there is a huge mountain that is getting bigger every single week in terms of unlikability. But the best part is the Eagles are the kind of team, personnel, and town to say, awesome, yeah, you think you're better than me? Try to take me. Like, that's their whole deal.
Yeah.
So they like they're not liked.
Yeah.
And I think we've arrived there.
I mean, literally.
Was that this morning?
That was yesterday morning.
Okay, so
Nobody
we both
likes
led
us,
the
we
same.
don't care.
We both led with the same topic when it came to the Eagles.
Well done.
Yeah, so me and Kyle Brandt, one the same. Two football guys, both
Two football
realizing
guys.
that this is the new hateable brand across the sport. I mean, yeah, like I feel like he just summarized yesterday's opening segment beautifully.
It's well done.
Yeah, I mean that they've become the new hateable
Keep
brand.
hating on the most successful play. Keep hating on the Super Bowl champs. Whatever.
They're the new it team. I mean that's what it is.
One team that despises the Eagles, the Washington Commanders. The D.C. Council approved for the Commanders to build their new stadium where they'll hold where it's currently being destroyed in regards to the old stadium, RFK Stadium. The Commanders are going to invest $2.7 billion and cover the overruns to build the 65,000-seat stadium, and the district could contribute $1 billion of their own money, and they're aiming for the 2030 season to be their inaugural season, so they have time for the U.S. Open.
And it's going to be where RFK.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great decision, by the way.
Yeah, no, I like the
I was
location
very
better
pro
than
that.
Landover.
That's just a
And they need to get
terrible-
out of that building. That building
terrible.
nearly took out Jaylen Hurts
It's
a
a
few years
terrible
ago.
building. You can't get there. It's awful.
Last year, was it the Giants that couldn't shower after the game?
I think it was. I think you're right about that. 2030, though. So are we going to see the new Commander Stadium before we see a new Sixers arena?
No, we'll see the Sixers arena before.
Really? When?
That's 2030.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess technically then we would see...
Depends, I guess, the timing of it.
But they'll open up before the Sixers do, but they'll both be open the same year.
2030.
Yes.
Correct
2030.
mundo.
I didn't know if we were getting to the 2030, because isn't the Xfinity Mobile Arena lease up 2031? Wrong? I
don't
might
know.
have this confused
I don't
with the
know.
link.
I just 2030 is the date that I always see
Okay, well, you would know
2030.
much better than me.
for the new.
You know, you go to work down
I do
at
go work
Xfinity
down
Mobile
there.
Arena. You work at Xfinity.
The fact that you're trying to drive it home is going to help me remember the name of the building instead of just like work.
Yeah,
or
going to work.
inside the building. Here inside the building. I say that a lot.
Oh.
Here inside the building.
Yeah, I mean, if you say here inside the building, you can never get it wrong.
Yes. People
So-
are wondering where I am now.
Yeah, you work at Xfinity.
I work.
Amy's at
now,
Xfinity.
now people are. They already come up to me sometimes like, "Hey, with my cable." It's like, I don't have much. They used to hand out cards to us to hand out to people when they would ask us about it. Just because people say, "I get it."
If I have Wi-Fi troubles, Amy Fidul, I give you a call.
Exactly. You sure can.
I have Xfinity Wi-Fi.
I'm gonna look this
Xfinity
up.
is where I ended up after all the troubles I had with my previous company, in which Wi-Fi. So shout out to Xfinity while we sit here in the Comcast Business Studios.
Oh,
all right,
you're
what
right.
else we got here in the
Amy,
NFL Notes?
you're going to call Amy. She's going to say, well, have you unplugged it and plugged
Yes.
it back in for 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No
Start-
comment,
wait
no
to
comment
restart.
on the other place I used to have Wi-Fi from.
All right, last one here. We all know the drama around Tom Brady in the coach's booth this past Monday Night Football. And head coach of the Bears, Ben Johnson, said that he's not necessarily worried about meeting with Brady and then Brady spilling the beans to the Raiders, because he said, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, we change week to week in terms of our schematics, he's going to be able to turn on the tape, and everyone else is going to be able to turn on the tape and see what we run game in and game out. So,
I mean,
there was drama in the terms of is Brady going to do anything, but then you have Ben Johnson saying, hey, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, I think the coordinators and the head coaches will police themselves on that front. Because I think sometimes they do give information to the broadcasters. Not like it's, some big secret, but I think they do give a little extra. Just that's the whole point of it.
I mean, I think he could say that's the media because you're downplaying it, but you're not. I don't think if I'm him, I'm saying anything. I'm not. To me personally, if I'm him, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, and in the article, it continued to go with another quote saying that he's been in the game, quote, long enough, and he has his coach speak down. So
yeah, I think that's just him saying nothing to not turn it into a story because the last thing he wants to answer is, okay, so how did Tom Brady things go? Or if they lose to the Raiders.
What did you tell Tom?
Yeah. So I think he's trying to ignore
also
that.
keep his job.
Yeah. Well, it's early. It's early.
It's never too early.
For Ben Johnson?
Well, he would think. Inheriting that mess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gets late early in Chicago because it's Chicago.
Exactly.
Like they're bad. Bad organizations stay bad. Coming up in the next segment, you get your next chance for Guess That Walk of Famer. I think this one's easy coming up. I think this next one's easy. This is one of those like game break type things for you. Like if you don't get it, I think it's gonna you're gonna kind of be piled on here. So we'll reset the show. And also, while we look at this Eagles team, we just went around the NFL. Let's go around the NFL of who through 2 weeks can we put near the level of the Birds? That championship contender status. Who's impressed you? Who hasn't? Who needs to show you more over the next 16 to get themselves in that conversation? Alongside Amy Fudel, I'm Ray Dunn right here, Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, everybody, it's Bill Colarulo, and coming up.
I'm not going to say Jaylen Hurts doesn't have to play a little bit better. Of course he does.
He did not have his greatest game.
Yeah, of course.
No, first half.
Yeah, of course he does. Of course Kevin Patullo has to evolve the offense a little bit more. Of course you want to see them take some shots down the field more. But this team does find ways to win games, and that's important. And again, we're not saying this about a team that wasn't extremely successful last year. You're talking about a team now that has won how many straight games? Was it like 18 out of their last 19? And the only game they lost was when Jaylen Hurts goes out with a concussion in the first half. Like, at what point do we start to just trust and say, you know what, this Philadelphia Eagles team does what they have to do. No matter what, they know how to win football games.
I think I've gotten to that point with this team. I believe that this team is the best team in football every time they step out on the field. Why do you think you're getting this type of effort against other teams? Because they know that. They know that if they go on the field and half-ass it, they're going to get wiped right off of that field.
Let me give you a little Sirianni love.
Oh, boy.
Because
Knew
with that win yesterday, Nick Sirianni improved his record to 50-20. That's a winning percentage of .714, which leapfrogged George Allen. He now has the second highest winning percentage all time, only behind John Madden.
I'm the smartest coach in the world.
Is that pretty good?
Pretty
So
damn
much
good.
You know what? I mean, think about his whole time period here. He comes out with the fertilizer at first. Nobody believes in him. Now all of a sudden, take a look around. Take a look around at Eagles fans and ask them if they believe in Nick Sirianni. There is no other answer. The answer is yes.
You would hope.
And the one thing that kind of sits on me is that I look at the players and listen to what the players say. The players all love them.
Yeah,
name a player who is, you know what? They went through that hell 2 years ago. How many players stuck up for Sirianni? Almost all of them, if not all of them.
Yeah, he seems to be liked by the players, and all he does is win. I mean, it's very similar to Jaylen Hurts. Both of them have their critics. Both of them have people who didn't believe in them and maybe still want to fight back every chance they get. But you talk about a quarterback and a head coach that win more than anybody.
Here on 97.5 The Fanatic, our 12 o'clock hour is brought to you by Service First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48 months, rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. Alongside Amy Fidul, I'm Ray Dunn. Just had our NFL notes at noon with the one and only Austin Jones. And while we look around the NFL at noon, just a little bit of a broader approach to it right now. The Eagles being the reigning Super Bowl champions, no matter how you feel about how the first 2 weeks have looked, there's the expectation they will compete in the NFC, that they will be one of those last teams left. Through 2 weeks, how many teams can you say have caught your eye to be amongst that level of competition the rest of the way?
In the NFC or just
in general, in totality?
Four.
Okay, give me your four.
The Bills.
Yep.
I would say the Ravens, even though I don't believe in them in the postseason, but they obviously have looked good. It's hard not to say that they did. And you're talking about teams other than the Eagles, or can I include them? Because they would be in my four.
Okay, so they'd be one of the four.
They would be. Just because of the manner of which they're able to win, even if they don't look good. I think that's an impressive thing.
Yep.
I know people aren't excited about it. 101 yards of offense. And the Rams.
The Rams.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Packers.
Wow.
I blinked out for a second.
Wow, she's got a good game on Sunday going. Eagles,
no, not the
Rams.
No.
Okay.
The Packers.
I think
those are my four.
Okay, I like that four. Would you add anyone to that four, Austin?
I'm thinking about the Chargers.
Oh.
I'm not a Justin Herbert.
It's not necessarily
That's
about
a tough one.
Herbert for me. It's just the fact that it's Harbaugh's second season, and I think that he's going to make the jump this round.
You're on that Colin Cowherd wave if he's the greatest.
Okay, don't put me in that conversation.
Greatest football coach of all time.
Come on.
You see that? You see that clip?
No. And
my algorithm knows
sad,
to feed me the
I'm
Cowherd.
sad that I now know about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go watch it.
I'm sorry to break your heart like that. I didn't mean
your
to
phones
hurt
are
you
listening
like that.
anyway, Amy.
It's all,
you'll see
it. Next commercial break.
It's already going to come up.
Next time you scroll, you'll see it. All right, so you put the Chargers. I'm not ready to put the Chargers at that level, but I understand why one would put the Chargers at that level. I know that a certain person in my life is going to hear that and be very upset with me that I'm not putting the Chargers at that level, but I'm sorry. We can argue that one at some point another time. Going down the list for me, I think it's the same four. I will tell you it hasn't looked impressive for them. They've gotten a couple of late game magic moments. They're the ones coming up at the end of the month for the Eagles. They've won 2 road games in games that they probably shouldn't have won. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Buccaneers are always an interesting team. I think we view them differently here than maybe they're even viewed nationally. I think that they find ways to win. I think their quarterback is good. I like watching Baker Mayfield play. It would scare me,
right,
if it was my quarterback. But it's fun to watch because all of a sudden, talk about a freelancer. But yeah, it's just that could be like if I went past 4, I would probably put them in the top of the next tier.
I think you're the correct 4. That next tier is probably some combination of Lions, Buccaneers. If you want to feel good about the Rams, maybe somewhere in there. But I think the core 4, I would agree with you, those would be the 4 through 2 weeks of giving you the impression they can reach that level. The Chiefs probably fall into that next, even at 0-2.
Yeah, because they're the Chiefs. It's
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. It's Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo.
I'm starting to make a very large second tier here, so I might have to.
Well, you could have 4 in the second tier.
But Chiefs wouldn't make that 4 for me if it was just 4 in that next tier.
Who would your 4 in the next tier be? Lions,
Chargers,
Rams, Buccaneers?
Probably.
Yeah, that's not
Probably.
bad. I don't know. The Chargers, I have to see one more game.
All right, that's fair. Rams, everything's.
There's always
kinda
like one
bunched
more
up there.
game. Yeah. But the Bucks, I
It's
would
funny
probably
that-
put the top of the next level. But I think that's how we view them here.
Yeah.
Because how the Eagles play there, but they do always they are notorious for finding ways to win, like that Falcons game.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Monday night. This
Thought they
past
were
Monday
cooked.
night, I thought they were.
Thought they were cooked.
Yeah, I thought they were going to lose that game, and Baker finds a way. Egbuka not practicing today, by the way.
Oh,
So notable down there in Tampa Bay.
that is notable.
So just for those of you, also for fantasy purposes, for the people out there, I want you to know, guys not playing.
Set your lineups.
Yes.
It's Thursday.
It's
Make
Thursday.
your picks.
I'm
In your
picking up
pick'em
my
pools.
defenses. Yeah.
Survivor pools.
I got to pick a loser.
Yeah.
Do you think I should pick the Dolphins to be the loser tonight?
Yes.
That's easy. That's an easy pick.
Yeah, it's not against the spread because I'm in a pool where I have to pick against the spread. And last week I did so well, but I picked the Cowboys thinking for sure, and that's the only one I lost. You pick 5 every week.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm at 4-1.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
forget my picks on Friday. We're just going to text Amy.
But yeah, but there was that one. As long as you don't have to, what's the spread on that Bills Dolphins game? It's gotta
11
be
and a
like-
half, I think, was what I saw on my
Goodness.
trusty FanDuel app.
See,
All right. While we're talking birds, let's go to our buddy Dr. Matt Elf. Wants to get in on the conversation we had earlier about their entertainment factor. Greg, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good afternoon, guys. It seems fashionable now nationally to carry the flag against the Tush push. How much influence do you think the higher-ups at the NFL have on the behind-the-scenes lobbying to get people to say things against it?
I would say that a lot of the loudest voices being against it is a good sign that the conversation behind the scenes is incredibly negative about it. Thus, they realize, hey, if we are echoing the sentiments of what we're hearing, then we're delivering the message of the NFL here.
Right.
So I would say there is a lot of negativity in behind the scenes, given that Goodell wanted it gone before this season.
Yeah, openly spoke out against it.
So I would assume everyone's taking the lead from the top there, and if they're hearing that people are against it, they're going to continue to
feed
talk
into
about how people are against it and how it is a problematic play.
Well, the most recent thing, obviously, is difficulty officiating, and I don't understand that. If you clear out the neutral zone, why can't you determine whether somebody's offsides or not? I don't. It seems like a basic function of being an official for the linesmen, I guess, and yet they're complaining about it.
And that was something that Amy and I both went back and forth with on Monday with the Dean Blandino audio of, like, how is it difficult for you? You knew this was coming. You knew this was going to be a
Been
part of the
around.
game. And
Should be able
Greg,
to
I
look down
don't
the
get
line.
why it is so difficult for them because they officiate every other play. Like, why don't you just do your job this time around?
Should be able to look right down the line and see there's 3 helmets that are in
Yeah.
the neutral zone.
Right.
Pretty obvious. That's not. I understand there is some difficulty. And we saw the review. Was the ball over the plane because it's so. All right, that is your job. I understand that's more difficult. But when the center is holding the ball, you should be able to see clearly who's in the neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't understand when they talk about or a false start, like whatever.
All right, our next run here.
Real quick, Ray. For the Dolphins, they haven't won in Buffalo since 2016. Jay Ajayi had 200 yards rushing.
Jay Ajayi.
Wow. All right, yeah, so probably going to take the Bills tonight. We'll take the Dolphins to lose in my loser pool. Guess the Walk of Famer.
Yes.
Speaking of Austin Jones, as you jump in right there, we got 3 clues. You have to name that Walk of Famer. You can text it at 610-632-0975. If you get it correct, and you're the first one to get it correct, you're entered to win one of our 4 pairs of tickets to see Riley Green. His tour coming August 13th, 2026 at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 o'clock if you do not win. All right, your 3 clues. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Blade Runner. All right, 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. The first one to text the Walk of Famer correctly is entered to win the tickets. Austin Jones, you are 2 for 4. If you do not get this one, I'm telling
You need to exit the building.
Yeah, we're probably not. I don't know if we we need him to do his job, but it's going to be tough. Who do we got? No way. No way. I'm going to give you Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Blade Runner.
Have you ever seen Star Wars?
I haven't seen it since Revenge of the Sith or something like that.
Revenge of the Sith, yeah.
Yeah, haven't seen that one.
This is the original. It's the original
And
Star Wars.
Indiana Jones, I assume you haven't seen either?
Blade Runner.
We're not
Indiana
related, so
Jones.
no.
Witness.
No, and no.
Okay. Wow. All right. Hey, fair enough. You know,
It is what it
different
is.
things for different people. The answer to that one would be Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford was the Walk of Famer that we were looking for.
Plane 57? Is that him?
What? He was the president in one of those movies.
Plane.
Is that it?
I haven't
There was
seen
one. There was a movie where he was the president and he
Yeah.
has to escape the plane that was hijacked. The plane was, and he was the president. Is that? I don't know what that was called. Passenger 57 was a different. That was a different one. That was Wesley Snipes, I think.
Plane.
No, I'll look it up. That's not it. There's no way. The movie's not called. It was Passenger 57.
Passenger 57.
That's Harrison.
I know the
that's,
name, but not the game.
All
obviously.
right, Harrison Ford was the correct answer. We'll
That's
see
incredible.
who gets it on Guess the Walk of Famer coming up on the other side. And on the other side, what we're looking at here.
Yes, Passenger 57 is Wesley Snipes. I knew
What
it. Yes,
about
crushed
the
it.
Rams gives you the most cause for
Air Force
concern?
One.
Air Force One. That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies fell to the Dodgers last night 5-0 as Jesus Luzardo gave up 4 runs in 7 innings. And on the other side, Blake Snell pitched 7 scoreless innings with 12 strikeouts. They'll be off tonight, but they'll be back tomorrow on Friday against the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona. The game will be started by Taijuan Walker, and first pitch is set for 9:40. With the Eagles offense being off to a slow start, Jaylen Hurts stated yesterday during his media session that he knows that this offense can get going because they have the pieces to do so.
Over the time that we've had success, offensive football has always been played at a high level here, been dynamic, and it's found ways to win. And we hope to continue to work to be able to do that. And we think that there are pieces and ways that we can improve, and we've been very critical of ourselves, and that starts with me being critical of myself.
Yesterday, the Eagles were on the practice field, and they welcomed Dallas Goedert back on a limited basis. Jalen Carter and Tanner McKee were both limited in practice as well. Olivia Reiner from the Philadelphia Inquirer will join the show at 1:25. This update's brought to you by Bet365. Football is back. Get ready for the season at Bet365. When it comes to sports books, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
When you go into Arrowhead Stadium, which is not an easy place, I mean, the record reflects it. You include the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes coming into this game was 58-13 at Arrowhead Stadium, and you find a way to win even with your offense not firing on all cylinders. And you look at that first half, Patrick Mahomes, the only thing he had going for him in that first half was his scrambling ability. He puts up 60 yards rushing in the first half. The defense adjusted, and they hold them to only 6 yards the rest of the way in that second half. They held the Kansas City Chiefs to 17 points. You're going to win a lot of games when you're able to do that. They won the turnover battle again, just like they did in Week 1 against the Cowboys. They get a big interception by rookie Drew Makuba in the red zone off of Travis Kelce's hands, which was a beautiful thing to watch. And they did enough to win the football game. So you're right. Whenever you can win a game in the NFL, it's a positive, but especially in that environment. Like, you knew the Chiefs had revenge on their mind. You knew they didn't want to fall to 0-2. And even still, you find a way to win. I'm feeling good today.
that a lot of the conversation today and this week, and just basing it off of social media yesterday, will be about the offense, right? And yes, for the people that said the Eagles are better, but they have Mahomes and Andy Reid, they do have those guys. But this Eagles defense balled out. I want to freaking celebrate how damn good that defense was yesterday, because as much as I mentioned Jaylen Hurts, 15 of 22 for 101 yards, is 16 of 29 for 187 yards with an interception really all that much better?
When you go in.
All right, Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, and Sean in Wayne is our winner for the Harrison Ford answer for our Walk of
Harrison
Famer.
Ford.
And I want to point out the irony, because I'm not above the irony of me calling out someone for their movie knowledge. I realize how ironic that last segment was to longtime listeners of the Middays program. It is very ironic that I did. Just know, Austin, I've been in your side of this.
Oh,
I feel your pain.
General Knowledge Wednesdays weren't always friendly.
No.
Ray, I enjoyed being here. I would try to, speak through. That's why I was trying to, give you, more, mojo over there, Austin.
I appreciate it. I need it.
Yeah, I will try to help you out.
But I'll say this. I told Brandon during the last break, I was like, it's different when you get in the seat. You think you know, but then you get in there. It's like,
I'm going to give you, some more hints.
Nobody understands that.
The next one.
Nobody. I understand it. I understand the way you're feeling, but no one understands that from the outside. You just have the glare of, you can't, there's no dead air. You don't want to be the one that keeps quiet. I know for me, when I was squirming in General Knowledge Wednesday, I would start talking. My general defense was starting to just, filibuster, which I think I would be tremendous at, by the way. I think I could deliver a heck of a filibuster if I ever had the opportunity.
Talk for
And I'm a good
hours on
sport, because it's not like I'm putting up the YouTube chat back here and trying to do a side glance. You know what I mean?
That's and I got accused of that
contact
a ton, which no one would realize.
Yeah, I would always turn it away.
Where I would be looking versus where my thing, I would have the computer down and to the side, and I'm looking straight into the host studio trying to lock eyes and really try and break them in here. It's tough. It's a tough go of it. But Sean in Wayne is the one that gets that one correct. I know you know a couple of Seans in Wayne.
I know several Seans in Wayne.
Several.
Yes.
And you also told me that you only believe in one spelling of the name, Sean. Is that
I do.
True?
Yes. Sean. The throwback to the Irish. As an Irishman,
I appreciate it. But a lot of people SHAWN
is that's the more phonetic spelling.
Phonetically, that's how.
Which is ironic, because as someone whose last name is spelled phonetically and not the way that it was traditionally spelled, whenever it was generated thousands of years ago, you would think I would be more into the phonetic spelling.
But you're not. No.
I appreciate the traditional SEAN.
But shout out to the Sean in Wayne that got this one correct.
Whomever that may be.
Yes, whoever that could be on this one. We said it before the break. What about this Rams team gives you most cause for concern looking at this weekend? I'm curious to get your input on that one, Amy Fadul.
Yeah, what gives you concern is the fact that it is Matt Stafford. No matter his age was showing itself a little bit in the preseason when he was talking about the back and unable to really kind of practice in the training camp time frame. But they're weapons. I mean, you just faced a great quarterback without any real weapons in Patrick Mahomes, and you struggled at times to limit him. You needed a turnover to really seal the game. Now you're going against a quarterback, though very good, another Super Bowl winner, showing his age a bit, but he has exceptionally talented wide receivers. They have a good running back. They use all parts of the field. And so when we were talking earlier about what would you do as far as, is it an Adoree Jackson trying to just limit his exposure out there and try to move everybody else, you have to start thinking about that. How much do you blitz as well? Because you saw how much they blitzed against Patrick Mahomes, and it obviously affected him. Is it going to be the same kind of game plan this week? So, yeah, there's concerns because you struggled against a team that did not have the offensive weapons that you're looking at with the Rams, and so they can score. That's what they're designed to do. That is literally how Sean McVay, that's how their teams operate.
Me personally, I understand the offensive concerns. Defensively, that defensive front, with what we've seen and the pressure that the Chiefs were able to get against you last week, I'm looking at Jared Verse, who, by the way, is still public enemy number one. I guess we probably should go find that audio.
I was going to say, I can't believe
run that one back. We might need to go pull that. No, it's okay. We'll. Who's in the back today? Gabby's in the back. Gabby, sound for updates. January 2025.
Yes.
I believe the game was January 18th. If I remember correctly, 19th.
I was going to say 19th, but I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, so it'd be like
in that range.
It'd be like 15th, 16th, somewhere in there. The Jared Verse comments, we'll get it. But Verse, Byron Young, Kobe Turner, that entire defensive front after the way
January
the Chiefs
19th
were.
was right.
Wow, January 19th. Why do I have 18th in my mind?
So yeah,
disappointing for me.
It's okay.
No, I'm disappointed. That
I
bothers
didn't want
me.
to correct you.
No, it's all right.
I did. Sorry.
You did kind of.
I did. I mean, not kind of. I
didn't
absolutely
want
did.
to.
I said 19.
I didn't want to correct
Well,
you.
I just want to prove that I'm right.
Yeah,
but yeah, so in the
doesn't know what
range,
he's talking about.
in the range of 15th, the 15th or the 16th would be when those Jared versus come.
Yeah.
Jared versus.
So I was kind of right, but it's fine. Looking at that defensive front for the Rams, the pressure that the Chiefs were able to generate against the Eagles, that's where I start to have the concern there, because I think you're going to be able to, believe it or not, you heard me say it last week, I'm going to say it again this week, I think you're going to be able to get the passing game going against these defensive backs, but it's going to come down to the pressure that they're able to get. And we saw, they talked a lot about this week, whether it be Sirianni, Patullo, the pressure we saw, he was just throwing it where he needed to. Well, we were efficient against the pressure. Is a line I heard one too many times over the first 3 days of this week, if I'm being honest with you, Amy Fidul. I was sick and tired of hearing we were efficient against the pressure. I don't care.
You heard the word efficient a lot.
Oh, God. Which, by the way, your EPA in the passing game, 21st in the NFL. So let's chill out on the whole we're a very efficient thing. You're efficient at throwing it 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. All right, I want to see the ball move down the field, okay? But that pressure that you could get, that's the big thing that concerns me when you look at this matchup. I totally understand your concern about the wide receivers. I think that's going to be a big thing. We talked about Adoree Jackson earlier. Jeff Mosher's breakdown of what might happen, how they might deploy the corners against that elite passing game, those two elite receivers for the Rams. But to me, I want to see the steps forward by the offense, and I think the way the steps forward against the offense could be hindered
because of the pressure.
Because of that pressure that they can get up front.
Yeah,
so,
Jared Verse. He's obviously they're very talented.
Very talented, and we're at some point going to get you the audio of Jared Verse talking about Philadelphia and why. Yeah, it was so weird why he hates Philadelphia. I still don't get it. Like 8 months later, but it's really not that big.
I don't think that it's softened his stance probably at this point, right?
Well, no.
Not after the way they rolled through.
No, yeah, and I mean, we were only more emboldened to boo him and let him know that we have problems with him. Coming up, take a break from the Birds. Go back to the Phils. Matt Gelb wrote about the postseason roster today. Interesting line about Trey Turner, and an interesting idea about who may be summoned to return during the DS. What? Who might they call on for some support? Do you actually know?
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah, so Amy has no idea. I don't know if you looked like you were trying to play into my questioning here.
No, I'm excited to find out.
Okay, so Amy's going to find out just when all of you find out. Coming up.
Genuinely.
We'll have that and your next chance to win the Riley Green tickets with guest the Walk of Famer in honor of LA Week here in Philadelphia. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds Insider Update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm Austin Jones with your Birds Insider Update. The Eagles face the Rams this weekend, 1 o'clock on Fox. One player that has had success against the Rams is Eagles defensive tackle Jaylen Carter, who played in his first game this past week. Surprisingly, defensive coordinator stated earlier in the week that Carter has to get into better shape. Head coach Nick Sirianni spoke about Jaylen Carter and the entire team having to work into shape by playing games yesterday during his media session.
He's working his butt off to be in the best shape of his life, just like all our guys. And so we know that if we're in great shape, then we can play relentless effort and we can play with great detail. It's hard to play with great detail and relentless effort when you're not in great shape.
And also, the team has signed guard Kenyon Green to the 50-man roster. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm not going to say Jaylen Hurts doesn't have to play a little bit better. Of course he does.
He did not have his greatest game.
Yeah, of course.
No, first half.
Yeah, of course he does. Of course Kevin Patullo has to evolve the offense a little bit more. Of course you want to see them take some shots down the field more. But this team does find ways to win games, and that's important. And again, we're not saying this about a team that wasn't extremely successful last year. You're talking about a team now that has won how many straight games? Was it like 18 out of their last 19? And the only game they lost was when Jaylen Hurts goes out with a concussion in the first half. Like, at what point do we start to just trust and say, you know what, this Philadelphia Eagles team does what they have to do, no matter what, they know how to win football games.
I think I've gotten to that point with this team. I believe that this team is the best team in football every time they step out on the field. Why do you think you're getting this type of effort against other teams? Because they know that. They know that if they go on the field and half-ass it, they're going to get wiped right off of that field.
Let me give you a little Sirianni love.
Oh, boy.
Because
Knew
with that win yesterday, Nick Sirianni improved his record to 50-20. That's a winning percentage of .714, which leapfrogged George Allen. He now has the second highest winning percentage all time, only behind John Madden.
I'm the smartest coach in the world.
Is that pretty good?
Pretty
So
damn
much
good.
You know what? I mean, think about his whole time period here. He comes out with the fertilizer at first. Nobody believes in him. Now all of a sudden, take a look around. Take a look around at Eagles fans and ask them if they believe in Nick Sirianni. There is no other answer. The answer is yes.
You would hope.
And the one thing that kind of sits on me is that I look at the players and listen to what the players say. The players all love him.
Yeah,
name a player who is, you know what? They went through that hell 2 years ago. How many players stuck up for Sirianni? Almost all of them, if not all of them.
Yeah, he seems to be liked by the players, and all he does is win. I mean, it's very similar to Jaylen Hurts. Both of them have their critics. Both of them have people who didn't believe in them and maybe still want to fight back every chance they get. But you talk about a quarterback and a head coach that win more than anybody.
It was amazing. I mentioned that we were going to talk Phillies. All of a sudden, Ricky Metallico
Philly
pops
shows
out.
up.
Yeah. It was an All-Star in 96. Do you know that?
I did. The last time that they had the All-Star game here,
It's true.
Bobo was there.
He's coming up at 2 o'clock. That's Unfiltered. That's coming your way. I imagine, I don't know, you would know the programming schedule. Tonight is my favorite thing going to happen to whoever's producing evenings here, where they're going to be getting phone calls from people trying to call into Unfiltered because the replay is playing because the Phillies are off.
Yes.
Oh, great. So sounds good. That's Billy C., Ricky Bo, and Silvana coming your way at 2 o'clock. And we mentioned Billy C. going to be at Voorhees for Flyers training camp on Saturday. Looking forward to that 10 a.m. to 1. But talking Phillies, I want to get into some Phillies conversation here before we get to our next guest, the Walk of Famer, which I'll be honest with you. The first one of the 12 o'clock hour was supposed to be the one that really, really cushioned the blow of the second one of the 12 o'clock hour because the hints might be a little tougher for this one. I wish you luck, Austin Jones. I wish you luck at the end of this segment. But before we get there, Matt Gelb wrote story today in The Athletic as the Phillies near October baseball, some postseason roster debates come into focus. We talked earlier about the rotation, talked earlier about the pitching staff and what that might be. He wrote, the Phillies expect Turner to return to the active roster before the regular season ends, but how many at-bats he has in actual games could depend on the race for the batting title, which is an interesting conundrum because, one, you obviously want the guy to win it. This is an organization that hasn't had someone win the batting title since Richie Ashburn did it in 1950. He's up to 303. Turner is sitting at 305 when he got injured. There is a part of me that is like, this is something important to the guy. This is something that the organization also wants the guy to chase. We should feel good about. I've mentioned already this week my kinship with the man now because of the fact that I didn't get MRI. I don't really have the medical professionals at my disposal to do that. I'm pretty sure I pulled my hamstring. I'd love to know.
You didn't go to a doctor?
No, I'm not. No, not really big on the whole doctor. I got an appointment tomorrow, but not that doctor. So not really going to be able to help me out in that regard. So I feel for him because we both have injured hamstrings. And just knowing what it takes to come back from something like this as an athlete myself.
Yes, thank you for
clearing that up.
Adding that a little.
You don't want him to rush back from something like this with the injury to something.
And the importance of going forward.
Right. So I get why it would be important to come back for the batting title. Does it matter to you? Would you be okay with him coming back just to chase that?
See, I would hope it's not just to chase that. And we talked about this a little bit on the post-game show or was the pregame that all ran together. Mm-hmm. But it was, for me, it's the thought process of getting your feet kind of back under you a little bit. But yeah, no, I mean, if it's just to chase the batting title, I don't think but I don't know that it would be that. I don't know that it would be just to chase the batting title. But I mean, it would be something really nice to have. It could be, the side effect could be getting one of your best players back in good form.
I guess, let me rephrase then. Does that enter your mind as a reason to have him back?
It would have to enter your mind. That it would be disingenuous to say, the only reason we want Trey back 2 weeks earlier, besides being healthy, is that we want to get him rolling at the right time.
Because I understand the getting him rolling.
And not realize that he has a, 2 points?
Yeah, he's got a 2-point lead right now. 0.002 lead over Nico Horner entering today.
Okay.
So really what you're doing is you're rooting against Nico Horner the rest of the way.
Correct.
To make sure that the gap is not there, or the gap is not that minimal between the two of them.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. How many at-bats he has in actual games could depend on the race for the batting title. Just for that, to me, I respect him chasing it. I want him to get it. But I really hope that it's not about, hey, we're going to see, if he comes back the Friday of that Minnesota series and he goes 0 for 4, and now all of a sudden he's trailing in the batting title, are they going to play him back-to-back days with the idea? That's more where I get concerned. I'd like to see him ease back into this process. And as much as we're chasing that, if you're coming back before the season ends, you're coming back very cautiously.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it's going to be. It's great news that he's going to be coming back earlier than they expected with the grade 1 strain. That's wonderful. Get him some reps, get him feeling good, He's not going to make, I wouldn't think, a rehab start. He could just do some of that stuff here. Ease him into it.
Yeah.
So when September ends, all is well, and he can hit the ground running.
Right. You wake up Green Day, and you get him out there ready to go for the postseason.
Thank you. When September ends, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, but no, I think, but to say that it doesn't at least enter your mind when you're talking about a guy playing the last, 4 games of a season, and
I get it.
He's hitting 305 with a chance to win the batting title. I don't know how it doesn't at least enter your mind. I don't think it's a reason for it. I think it does.
Well, there's
you
the
think
point
about
right there. I don't know if it's a reason for it, but you will have it on your mind.
Yeah,
when he
of course
goes
you
up
think
there
about
bat,
it.
you'll have it at least on your mind. But in terms of bringing him back, I don't want his health to be determined on whether or not he's going to win the batting title. That's the only point of this conversation. Now, the one other thing in this story, a roster dark horse.
Yeah, this was, I didn't know. I have no idea who this is.
There is a scenario in which the Phillies carry a player who is not on the active roster. The team would be comfortable with 12 pitchers in a 5-game series, Thompson said, and that would offer it an extra hitter. It makes sense to consider Johan Rojas. The Phillies demoted Rojas to AAA after they got Bader. Regardless of what's going on with him at the plate, he gives you elite speed and defense late game playoff situations. And Silvana Kelleher just walked past the studio and was giving me the no. Here's the reason why you consider it.
I'll give you the elite speed. I already have defense. Harrison Bader. Good check.
You do already have defense in center field.
Correct.
In a situation
in right field,
such as Marsh and Kepler start the game, but you have a good lefty that comes into the game and you pinch hit Castellanos, are you willing to sacrifice that defense the rest of the game just because you need to get Castellanos in there for an at-bat? 8th inning, left-handed pitcher on the mound, Marsh, Kepler come up. You bat Castellanos. Are you going to throw him out there in right field in a close game of the postseason?
And my other option is Johan Rojas.
Out there
for
for
automatic out.
An inning of defense. And we're not talking about him pinch hitting in the 5th.
Okay.
Pitching in like 7th, 8th, 9th.
So just to come in for defense.
Correct.
All right. Yeah, sign me up.
So, but the question is...
That's the very specific.
He's role specific. He's not getting a start.
He gets 3 outs.
He's not getting a start here.
No other outs.
He doesn't come into a game any sooner than the 7th.
There's no bat.
Any sooner than the 7th.
No bat in his hand.
There will be no at bat for him. He does not come into the game any sooner than the 7th.
Okay.
Strictly late game defense.
He can just show up with a glove. I don't even want him to bring his bat. His bat shouldn't be anywhere near the dugout. In that scenario, in the very, very specific scenario where he just comes in for 1 inning, basically, of defense. Okay. But no. But I see what no.
So you're not doing it.
I don't know.
You're rostering him basically over Weston Wilson or Otto Kemp.
See, I don't do that. I'm gonna say no. I'm all good. I'm all good on the Rojas.
Weston Wilson, Otto Kemp. I mean, what?
Say it goes extra innings. Now I'm stuck with him.
It's a redundant role. Well, if it goes extra innings and someone screwed up, it's not Rojas' fault it went extra innings.
It might be. You don't know. What about this great defense that he's been playing and he just drops the ball? This is a wild scenario that I've literally now completely elongated.
What boogeyman crap are you trying to pull on me here?
You never know. So he goes out. He's playing right field. Doesn't play there. He's been in Lehigh Valley playing center field and right field and left field. He comes up here, misreads the ball, and now you're stuck with him.
You're pinch hitting Castellanos, who's got a 580 OPS since July 1st. I understand the upside for him batting is better than Rojas, but we got that level of offense, that level of defense. We're pretending like this Rojas thing is not a conversation.
I don't even know why we're talking. This is a horrible scenario.
All right.
These are terrible scenarios.
I think it's a real scenario they have to consider.
Okay. He can run. He can come in the 10th inning. He can run when someone gets on base. So they already have the ghost runner at second, and someone gets on base or a walk. Kyle Schwarber walked.
All right.
And then Rojas can come in.
You're comfortable with Castellanos out there in a 1-run game defensively late in the game.
I just can't. I can't.
That's fine. That's fine.
What would you do, Raimundo?
Oh, yeah. If Kemp and Wilson are pretty similar players to me. If I have 2 of them on the roster, I could just use 1 of them on the roster, and I could use a roster spot on someone who helps me defensively late in the postseason.
I can't trust Johan Rojas. Every day looks like a new day to him.
It's defensively, I'm not trusting.
Defensively, it looks like sometimes he's like looking at the ball thinking, where's that going to go?
I'm curious.
I'm going to get there because I'm fast. but I'm not going to read it really well.
That's why he's not playing center.
That's why he doesn't play in the big leagues.
All right. Hey, listen, you want the guy with the 580 OPS and a limited range out there in right field in a one-run game. That's what I heard.
Limited range. I will give you that.
That's what I heard. I'm curious how people feel about that one at 610-632-0975. And while you're doing that, while we're having this conversation, you got to get your next guest the Walk of Famer in honor of LA Week. 3 clues. You name the person with a star on the Walk of Fame. You text at 610-632-0975. You're entered to win a pair of tickets to see Riley Green next August 2026 at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 o'clock. All right, your 3 clues for this one. For all you out there, 610-632-0975, as well as you, Austin Jones. Tug, Taylor Swift, I like it, I love it.
I like it. I love it. I want some more.
All right. He's on the right path here. 610-632-0975. The first person with the correct guess for that is entered to win the tickets. Who is it?
Tug, Taylor Swift. I like it. I love it.
You know the song. You were just giving us the song.
I know. I give you the song.
Tug is a good hint. Tug is this man's father. Tug McGraw.
Oh, Tim McGraw.
There
we go.
Tim McGraw. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that so much.
Wasn't going to let him go down. Wasn't going to let him go down over that one.
I will allow it. I will allow it.
You're
3
a good
for
man,
6.
Ray.
3
Good
for
man.
6. Coming up on the other side, get back to the texts and some of our Eagles topics from earlier. 1 o'clock hour. We'll be joined by Olivia Reiner coming up at 1:25 to talk all things Birds. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Dodgers shut out the Phillies last night as Jesus Luzardo gave up 4 earned runs in 7 innings. And on the other side, Blake Snell pitched 7 scoreless innings with 12 strikeouts. They'll be off today, but back in action tomorrow night against the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona. The game will be started by Taijuan Walker, and then he'll be replaced by Walker Buehler. First pitch is set for 9:40. With the Eagles offense being off to a slow start, Jaylen Hurts stated yesterday during his media session that he knows this offense can get into gear because they have the pieces to do so.
Over the time that we've had success, offensive football has always been played at a high level here, been dynamic, and it's found ways to win. And we hope to continue to work to be able to do that. And we think that there are pieces and ways that we can improve, and we've been very critical of ourselves. And that starts with me being critical of myself.
Yesterday on the practice field, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Carter, and Tanner McKee were all limited. Kenyon Green was signed to the active roster. Olivia Reiner from the Philadelphia Inquirer will join the show at 1:25. This update's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Looking for an exceptional driving experience? Experience the power, precision, and intelligence of an iconic Mercedes-Benz SUV at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer today. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
How much were you shocked or maybe surprised by how Fangio attacked the Chiefs defensively and how Spagnuolo attacked the Eagles?
I was really impressed and taken aback a little bit by how Vic Fangio approached that game, because he didn't send a single blitz in Super Bowl 59. And I believe, according to True Media, there was 11 blitzes on Sunday. So they were a lot more aggressive than they have been traditionally. And I think when you know that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have a lot of optionality in terms of the passing game, that's where you're able to sell out and be a little bit more confident in that, and then let your players rally to the football and clean up. They also had really good rush discipline in the second half, especially because early on, Patrick Mahomes, their primary source of offense was him picking up yards with his legs. And then for Spagnuolo, just aggressive. I thought that his defense really pinned their ears back and got after the Eagles quite a bit. And from a pass blocking perspective, I thought there were moments that the Eagles' offensive line gave him a lot of time. There were 4 or 5 seconds that Jaylen Hurts was standing back there. But then there were other moments where I thought that the Chiefs and Steve Spagnuolo dialed it up correctly. But, yeah, it was a good chess match.
Did you feel the absence of Dallas Goedert yesterday?
Definitely. Absolutely. I mean, on the first play of the game, Leo Chenal, the linebacker for Kansas City, gets off the edge. Calcaterra whiffs on the block. He doesn't get a hand on him and gets to Jaylen Hurts. And, I mean, Kylan Granson, I didn't think that – he's not an inline blocker. That's really not what he's here to do. But he saw that the Eagles played a lot of 12 personnel, and then Cameron Latu was in for about 6 plays. He was way more effective in that area. But you definitely felt the impact from Dallas Goedert, especially as a blocker, but also in the early stages of that game where I thought the Eagles were trying to force some things down the field and not necessarily take what was being given to them. That's where those short dump-offs, those intermediate completions to Dallas Goedert really settles that offense in and gets them headed in the right direction.
O'clock hour, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasted live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. Very fancy way to say you're listening to Amy Thruel and myself, Ray Dunn, hanging out with you here on the Midday Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. I want to get to the text line to get some reaction to. I saw the reaction on our YouTube chat. Very nice, spirited back and forth about Johan Rojas being on the postseason roster, which Amy said, you know what? I'm going to take the guy who since July 1st with the 580 OPS and limited range and put him out there in the field for the rest of the game as compared to the guy with a 569 OPS for the season who actually could field. That's what I heard. It's all right. You're not the only one. No,
it is like choosing
Rojas Nomas is what we got on the
that's
is
fun.
on the
That's
line
rhymey.
on the
Very
YouTube chat.
rhymey right
You're not
there.
alone. You're not alone.
Just like I already know. And I will harken back to some of the negative comments about Nick Castellanos' defense. There have been times in the postseason where all of a sudden he learns how to play that position a lot better.
It's true.
So,
he ends up diving on plays that maybe someone a little more fleet of foot, someone that can read a little better might get there.
I'll give you fleet of foot. Cannot read it better.
All right. Well, he's going to run and be able
Doesn't
to
have
correct
to read it as well because he is fleet of foot.
Yeah, that's fair. I will give you that. I don't think
his baseball IQ just sometimes lacks.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying he might have to stay in the game, and that is not an option for me.
Yeah, I guess if the alternative was was something wildly better. Listen, I hope Castellanos runs into a fastball down the middle as much as the next
when
guy.
When he does that, I will be texting.
That's great. I'm okay to be owned if they win. They win games. There are some people that do this job that only want to be correct. If I could be proven wrong in such a glorious way that they win.
Which is ironic because I text you about Harrison Bader and you could
Then I'm being proven right every single night by that guy.
I'm like, you're right. You were right.
Defensive,
I was wrong.
oriented center fielder that made me correct. Love it. Love it. Got to be great. All right. Let's go to the text line here on a number of different things we've got into today. We also got to congratulate Jason in Flemington, who was the one that got that correct. Tim McGraw was the Walk of Famer I was looking for. What do we got, Austin Jones?
Yeah, so this is the top text. Johan Duran, in the words of Tim McGraw, I hate it, loathe it, I want no more of it.
Oh, well done.
Johan Rojas, right?
Yes.
That was okay.
Not Duran.
Yeah. I heard Duran there for a second. I was like, oh, no, don't say that about my guy Duran.
I like the play on the
Yeah, I
the
like the
song.
play on it there. I'm telling you, I can tell that I'm stepping out on an island here for Rojas. If they do it, I'm not going to be against it. Much like I would be against them starting Aaron Nola in one of the 3 games of a divisional series. But I could be disappointed on both fronts. What do we got?
This is going back to the Eagles in the cornerback room. This text is from the state of Florida, no name. Why hasn't Bennett been able to beat out Adoree Jackson? He's had enough time since being traded here to Philly.
I think they're given the opportunity here for Jackson to absolutely prove that he is not the guy.
Right.
Which is not a very patient, which is not something that will quell our impatience, but it will give them at least the idea of
Each week is important.
Right. But I think this is what it is. And they will probably tell you that, he's still got a lot to learn with playing in the system. I don't know. Zadarius Smith showed up the first week and looked like he understood what his role was. I understand. Starting corner versus rotational edge rusher. I got you. But Bennett's been here about a month. I would be cool if they made the change. Make the switch, as we like to say around here. I'd be cool if
Make
they
the
did
switch
that with the corner.
At the cornerback position.
I have something
And with your radio.
that's not at all related to Philadelphia sports that I said to you before the break.
This is wild to me.
Pablo Torre's on a heater.
He is. He is on an epic tear, and I'm here for it.
I love it. He dropped another episode this morning, and I'll be honest, right now in the current iteration, to steal a phrase from Jaylen Hurts, iteration of my role. Part of what I do in the morning when I wake up is I go straight to our morning show. I go right to the beginning of their YouTube stream, and I listen to the open. I want to hear, hey, what exactly are Kincade and Salciunas getting into this morning? What's percolating on their minds? And I saw on the suggested next to Kincade and Salciunas, suggested for me by my algorithm, was the latest and greatest of Pablo Torre.
Okay.
That he had another edition of the Kawhi Leonard saga. I believe this is part 4 of the Kawhi Leonard saga. Yes. So, the title of this exclusive Kawhi and aspiration needed cash. Ballmer and the Clippers sent $118 million in 18 months. Pablo Torre finds out. And he apparently took Mark Cuban's advice to look for more receipts in this thing.
And he did.
And he found more. And now, Spotrac is reporting that the NBA does not expect to have a resolution on the Kawhi Leonard salary cap circumvention investigation until after the All-Star game. Now, after the All-Star game, that's an oddly specific timeline. Amy Fadul, can you remind the people who's hosting the All-Star game this year?
I don't want to say. It's just I don't like conspiracy theories, and this is feeding into that, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Is it L.A.?
It would be the Clippers.
Of course it is.
The Clippers are hosting
a brand
the
new
All-Star
building.
game.
Come check us out. Like, come on. You're telling me right now, September 18th, that you're not going to, an investigation that ostensibly started weeks ago is not going to be done until after February?
That's apparently the case.
Mind you, this is the league that just said you can watch our games via highlights. So, not really looking out for the fans, I'll say, or the respect of the game.
Or the integrity of the game. Like, what is happening right now? It's going to take us 5 more months. We'll get there, though. We'll get there. No, we won't. ChatGPT will have this thing figured out in 50 seconds.
ChatGPT? Pablo Torre is going to have this investigation done
It's already
in a matter
done.
of 2 weeks.
He literally just puts it all in. It's going to spit it all out.
He's going to continue to find receipts. This is going to get to the point where they can't ignore it. I mean, they're already at that point, but them giving the whole
He found an
investigation.
additional $20 million.
He's found the links between the two. I mean,
And the shell companies.
We
like
got
that's
you.
what when they said Steve Ballmer would never do this. He's too smart of a businessman. That's exactly why he would do this. Because he thinks he's too smart of a businessman. I'm sure he's great at business. But if you're telling me, the thing is, I would imagine there's a lot of other nervous people out there because, this happened with Joe Smith. This was a really long time ago, but this isn't an unheard of thing. Just the degree, we're looking at like $50 million almost. That's where it gets into be. That's what happens when you get greedy.
Mm-hmm.
If it had been like $5 million, no one would have noticed.
Which is going to open up the whole conversation about the wealth and equity between owners across the NBA anyways, because Ballmer, compared to everyone else, Ballmer could afford to do this
That's a
plenty of
drop in the
times
bucket
over.
for him.
Yeah.
He's a
Some other
billionaire.
organizations can't do that. Now, no one feels for these owners, and I don't blame you if you don't feel for these owners. They're billionaires. You know, we'll talk about wealth and equity in your own life. You're like, yeah, I feel so bad for the guy that's worth $6.2 billion that he's not worth what Ballmer is. He can't pay his players the same way. But for Ballmer in this conversation, yeah, I guess they're trying to tell him, enjoy All-Star Weekend, and thanks for building that arena, but we're going to have some problems
We're
with
going to take you down. Like, I would think like that in the next, and that also gives Steve Ballmer and whomever else is involved plenty of time to kind of circle the wagons. It's just wild to me.
I mean, it's inexcusable.
It's wild.
Pablo Torre's going to force their hand here. We'll have a resolution by Halloween. He's not going to stop.
No, he's going to find more. There's other people out there that are going to be nervous.
Oh yeah, you kidding me?
I just think it's the whole thing is just hilarious between like the family members asking for like positions and cash and whatever. It's funny.
The funny thing is, it kind of does parlay into the Sixers because they own a couple of the Clippers picks here in a couple of years. So if it's like
send all those picks on over right now.
If it's severe, consequences that kind of destructs the Clippers, then Well,
the problem is there's no amount of money that really punishes Ballmer, given how wealthy he is.
No.
And there's no real amount of picks that they could dock because of the picks that are owed out.
Which is fine. Then you have to think of other more inventive ways, but you have to do.
Kawhi Leonard no longer a Clipper.
You just say
contract's void.
Contract should be void.
I mean, that's where I think it would go.
But the irony is he was paid for a no-show job when he played in less than half the games.
Yeah.
And his other job was a no-show job.
I need to admit something. I did offer people beer in exchange for playing for my heyday team that were not on the roster.
The softball team?
Yep. I'll say it. If they want to take me out in this whole if Pablo Torre wants to investigate it, I'll say it before he goes after me. All right? We were short on people. We need people to show up. I offered a beer in exchange for playing for us. I know it's probably not there in the rule book that's allowed. We played people that weren't on the roster.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, this is
you can arrest me now.
It's happened before. I'm sure this happens more often than not. Little side deals and whatever else to try to but not to the extent. When it happened with Joe Smith and the Timberwolves were caught, they first docked him 5 picks. I think it was reviewed, and then they ended up getting him.
What if
3
they
picks.
limited the amount of money they could spend?
Right, gave them a cap.
Gave them their own version, the Clipper cap.
The Steve Ballmer cap.
Like you basically take whatever Kawhi's value is, and you use the value of Kawhi's contract against the cap for a set number of years, where you only can spend to a certain ceiling that is much lower than the rest of the NBA. It's the reverse of fining you. You only can spend this much money.
Right. That's not a bad idea. Your floor becomes
NBA?
the ceiling.
I'm here to be hired.
There just needs to be something. The thing is, it's like I like that they did all this for Kawhi Leonard, who hasn't brought them what they wanted.
Oh, not at all.
Which is ironic.
Not in the
It's like,
slightest.
a college team paying a player before it was legal, and then you literally got nothing out of it.
Any programs that we know of that didn't get what they wanted out of what they paid their players?
No.
Any program? No. Don't know any, Amy? All right.
Doesn't sound familiar.
All right. I don't know. Seem a little blue while we're talking about it. She's Amy Fanula. I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays. Get back to the Birds conversation. Olivia Reiner coming up at 1:25 here on The Fanatic.
Eagles wide receiver.
When you've seen the first 2 games, and I know you already have done a little pre-scouting, I know who you are, that you look at teams like the Rams and Tampa coming up. What would give you the most sort of early week alarm heading into the Rams game from what you've seen out of the Birds in the first 2 weeks? And what would make you feel really good going into the matchup?
I think the lack of imagination and innovation with the passing game, especially when you're expecting to see some new wrinkles. And again, it's just been 2 games. But when you're going up against the Sean McVay offense that can put up points, and they do have a lot of razzle-dazzle and eye candy, the Eagles have to make sure that they're being a balanced team and they're keeping defenses honest, because eventually, yes, you are winning games, but that will catch up to you. How they're winning isn't necessarily sustainable. You could argue that as long as they protect the football, I guess it is sustainable, but they have to find ways to really advance and move that offense forward. Now, what am I encouraged with, John? I think the development of their younger players on defense, and I'm going to hone in on linebacker Jahad Campbell and safety Drew McCuba.
Yeah.
Andrew's going to need a moment here.
Unleash Campbell is what I was asking for last week, my man.
And he certainly was. I mean, this is a physical player who just attacks that line of scrimmage. He's really comfortable and fluid in space. He looks like a player who's already has a full season under his belt. The way that he sort of grasps things and adjusted on the fly, I don't think should be understated. And then you have Drew McCuba, who it's very telling when Vic Fangio started him week 1, and despite him not playing a lot in the summer dealing with different injuries, it shows you the confidence and the vision that the Eagles had in him, and that's why they drafted him where they did. This is a playmaker. He's around the football. He's highly intelligent. He's versatile, and he can create different some different personnel groupings on defense because of his versatility. And you saw it manifest, taking the football away off Travis Kelce, and really that was the play of the game. Those are two players that just 2 games into their career, I think you have to feel really good about where they are in terms of their development.
We now return to the Fanatic Midday Show on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
In 10 minutes, we'll be joined by Olivia Reiner of the Philadelphia Inquirer, covers the Birds for them. Alongside Amy Fadula, I'm Ray Dunn. I'm really getting into reading all these Walk of Fame bios as I'm going through here. And the next one we have, you can tell that someone wrote this, potentially that person's representation wrote it, because it's
their agent?
the longest possible one that I've seen. Nobody else
trying
has
to really
this much.
sell.
Yeah.
This is why they have the
Yeah. They
star.
deserve it, because there's plenty of lesser deserving people on there, but geez. But that's coming up in a couple minutes here. Just to reset where we've been. We've fought against the idea that the Eagles are not entertaining. They entertain you just in a different way. You've been programmed to be entertained one way. This team is entertaining in a different way. We also talked about the passing game. Believe it or not, we talked about the passing game today on the air. Day 4 of Passing Gate, because we're here again. We did it last year. We're doing it again this year. I'm looking forward to continuing to have that conversation. And the most spirited debate of the day between Amy Fadula and myself had to deal with Johan Rojas being on the playoff roster, which tune in next week when we debate whether or not the backup catcher should be Garrett Stubbs or Rafael Marchand. He says somewhat sarcastically.
Okay, well then we'll come to.
We're going to fight over that too?
I mean, I would hope not. There's a clear answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gentleman. Did you see that? Speaking of, did you see the fun fact last night at the very end of pregame?
No.
So there have only been 2 Phillies to hit a go-ahead home run.
Oh, yes. Well, I heard this.
Okay, so there's
Jason
only
Stark's stat of the week.
Only 2 Phillies
I listen when Jason Stark speaks,
have ever hit a home run in the 9th inning, a go-ahead home run in the 9th inning at Dodger Stadium. 2 ever.
Uh-huh.
That's it. The first, well, the most recent was Rafael Marchand.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Got it. And then the first was Ruben Amaro Jr., who was in the booth out there, drove in Kevin Stocker, who was on the radio call.
Yes.
That took the lead. And then who came in for the save?
Ricky Vitalico.
Ricky Vitalico.
I got to say.
Who almost, I think it was McGee saved the home run.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Wallach almost hit one out.
I saw the
Ricky's
highlight
head go down.
package.
Yeah.
Tom McCarthy last night referenced Ricky's radio show, which that's personally how I think I'm going to refer to Unfiltered going forward.
Ricky's
radio show. And they also went with that stat and the highlight package of it. They had to cut away just a little quickly to get back to the pitch. And honestly, I know we made the save because he told me he made the save. The way they cut out of it, it was kind of a cliffhanger if Ricky gave up that home run.
Well, because you see him, he gets the pitch, comes across, and he left it a little bit not where he wanted it, and he put his head down. But then McGee comes and helps him.
And outs and out.
It.
You know?
It was great.
And outs and out.
But that's a pretty crazy thing that it was Ruben Amaro, Kevin Stocker, and Ricky Vitalico all featured in that game.
Yeah.
And they all three
part of the
working
Phillies
the
family.
game.
I love Ruben saying that when you only hit like 15 home runs,
He's like, I remember them all. He bat
all.
flipped a little bit, and the guys were giving him a hard time. And I was like, I'd bat flip a walk. I'd bat flip a hit by pitch.
I'd bat flipped a single.
I'd bat flip a
Monday
strikeout.
night. On Monday night in slow pitch softball. That shows you the type of guy I am. All right, ready. Guess the Walk of Famer. 3 clues. You name the person on the Walk of Fame. This is in honor of LA Week here in Philadelphia, playing both the Dodgers and the Rams. You get a pair of tickets to see Riley Green. His tour in 2026 is coming to Freedom Mortgage Pavilion August 13th. You can get your tickets tomorrow when they go on sale at 10 o'clock. All right, this Walk of Famer. Think like a man, ride along, and the roast of Tom Brady. Think like a man, ride along, the roast of Tom Brady. 610-632-0975. First person to get it right on the text line, entered to win the tickets. Austin Jones, who is it?
Kevin Hart.
That is correct. It is Kevin Hart. Good stuff from you there. So you
just
are
seen
now,
that the other night. Think like a man too. Well,
like a man.
Think like a man 1 and 2.
And 2. Oh wow, you want a double feature?
Yeah, not in the same time. Come on,
okay.
now.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I don't know. It's not really
Locked
one
in.
that I wouldn't really binge both of them back to back like that. I think they could stand alone. But hey,
You never know.
credit to you on that one. All right, coming up,
Well
Libby
done.
Reiner joins us from the Philadelphia Inquirer to talk about the Birds. Alongside Amy Fidul, I'm Ray Dunn. This Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Dodgers shut out the Phillies last night 5-0. Jesus Luzardo gave up 4 earned runs in 7 innings, and Blake Snell pitched 7 scoreless innings with 12 strikeouts. They'll be off tonight and back in action tomorrow against the Diamondbacks in Arizona. Taijuan Walker gets the start. With the Eagles offense being off to a slow start, Jaylen Hurts stated yesterday during his media session that he knows that this offense can get it in the gear because they have the right pieces.
Over the time that we've had success, offensive football has always been played at a high level here, been dynamic, and it's found ways to win. And we hope to continue to work to be able to do that. And we think that there are pieces and ways that we can improve, and we've been very critical of ourselves, and that starts with me being critical of myself.
Keep hearing 97.5 The Fanatic as Olivia Reiner from the Philadelphia Inquirer will join the show in about 5 minutes. This update's brought to you by King's Hawaiian Rolls. Eli Manning reminds you that there's nothing like football and King's Hawaiian Sliders. King's Hawaiian Sliders make you winner on game day. Pick them up this weekend in your bakery or deli section of your local grocery store. I'm Austin Jones on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm giving more credit to the architect. I'm giving more credit to Howie Roseman because I firmly believe that in 2023, when you saw that defense really struggle at linebacker, in the secondary at safety, James Bradbury fell off a cliff, I don't think it would have mattered who the defensive coordinator was. I don't think it would have mattered if Vic Fangio was here. They tried Sean Desai. They tried Matt Patricia. They had a significant lack of personnel that I think contributed to that being one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Then they hire Vic Fangio, and Fangio comes in here, and before the season, he was asked, what makes your defenses so good? And his response, good players. And you just look at Howie Roseman's last few drafts of defensive players. This time, he gives them Jahad Campbell and Drew Makuba. Last year, he gives them Quinyon, Cooper DeJean, Jalix Hunt. The year before, he gives them Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Maro Ajomo in the 7th damn round. And the year before that, Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean. not to mention the free agent signing of Zach Bond mixed in here, I'm giving him a majority of the credit. As good as Fangio is, and we love you, Vic, it's got to go to the architect.
I think that's cute on your part. That's really cute. Going right to the architect, your buddy, because he hangs out with you, with your uncle. I think that's really cute.
Wait. People used to say Sirianni was my cousin. Now he's my uncle.
He's your uncle.
Now he's my uncle. I think we're the same age.
Yeah, I was going to say they're about the same age. That don't make any sense.
Okay, brother. How's that? Is brother better?
Yeah,
brother?
I'm actually Jay Sirianni.
I think the whole point is he's your interest. How's that?
Or
he's
you could
of
just
your
say
interest.
he is your family member.
Yes, family member. Good.
Interest sounds a little bit like romance related.
See, you love him. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Which is
make your
fine.
point. Make your
You
point.
go to Howie Roseman. Okay,
I think
fine.
He's hot. He's a good-looking guy.
Howie has drafted well. I don't take anything away from you. Let me bring up Zach Bond. Remember that guy came over? Outside linebacker, right? Am I right or wrong? Outside linebacker.
That one you got to give Fangio credit.
Outside linebacker who he made a standout star as a linebacker.
I'll give
inside
you that one.
linebacker, as a matter of fact. And who told us he was going to be inside? Vic Fangio did before even putting him on the field. Why? Because he looks at tape. He understands players. He knows where to put them. He knows where to put them into situations where they're going to do well. Oh, by the way, you drafted Cooper DeJean. You drafted Quinyon Mitchell. You're going to sit there and tell me when Howie drafted these guys that you said, those dudes are going to be starters this year. They're going to be unbelievable. They're going to be the best ever. Did you say that? Was that your thought process?
I was excited about him, but I did not expect him to acclimate this quickly.
So why?
Listen,
because
solid
it's on
coaching.
Howie. Because
Solid
Howie
coaching.
drafted them. They should be the best players in the world. Yes, it is solid coaching. As a matter of fact, Vic has a very good eye for his players. He understands where to put his players to make them the best at their possible positions. He understands how to get the most out of each and every one of his players. And you know what? He's not afraid of these players, which makes them respect him. It's Vic Fangio. It's his defense. It's the way he sorts these guys and puts them where they need to be.
I'm giving more credit to the architect. I'm giving more credit to Howie Roseman because I firmly believe that in 2023, when you saw that defense really struggle at linebacker, in the secondary at safety, James Bradbury fell off a cliff, I don't think it would have mattered who the defensive coordinator was. I don't think it would have mattered if Vic Fangio was here. They tried Sean Desai. They tried Matt Patricia. They had a significant lack of personnel that I think contributed to that being one of the worst.
Midday show here on 97.5 The Fanatic alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. We're about to go on an adventure here. One, I'm excited to speak with Olivia Ryan from the Philadelphia Inquirer about the Birds. As behind us, the screen is frozen to, hey, Dutz, we need you to fix the screen behind us.
You
but
just
also,
came in for that. All right. It's
on top of that,
now.
the phone in front of me right now isn't showing the loading screen. So we're going to try this a different way of getting Olivia on the air because, always appreciate talking with Olivia. Let's see if this works. Olivia, do we have you?
Hey, Ray. Oh, yeah, you got me. I'm right here
She's
and ready to go.
There we go.
I love it.
One of our regulars here. Always good to talk with you, Olivia. And I want to jump into the story of the week and not the one that everyone's talking about nationally in terms of the tush push and all that. I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. But the passing game and what it needs to do. Hurts took accountability yesterday for it. We posed the question here amongst the two of us. Is this a week in which they will look to feature it, or is it another great opponent where they're going to play more to their turnover-free football and look to get the victory over the Rams? What do you think is more likely coming this week? Your turnover-free approach or your trying to get the passing game going approach for the Birds?
Yes. Is that a good answer?
Exactly.
Yes to all of the above. I don't think the Eagles are ever going to try to turn over the football. I think that has become a really big part of Jaylen Hurts' game ever since, the first few games of last season, when it was just turnover after turnover, interception after interception to start the season, and it became increasingly clear that no matter how many yards Jaylen Hurts was going to throw for, that wasn't going to be a recipe for success for the rest of the season. So ultimately, he tightens up, cleans up his game, and the Eagles did a much better job following the bye week of protecting the football. I don't think the Eagles can lose that. I think that's the possession game is such a huge part of what the Eagles do, and dominating that, and that is a huge reason why they've been able to win these last two games. I don't want to take that away from them. At the same time, the passing game needs to not even just become more explosive, but become more intermediate. We haven't seen Jaylen Hurts complete an intermediate throw in the first two games of the season. I don't think they can live by this death by 1,000 cuts approach that they've been taking for the first two games of the year. It's worked so far. They've gotten the win. But is it going to be sustainable? I have my doubts. We'll see if this week is the week where we see the passing game get unleashed a little bit more. The Rams secondary is a little bit banged up with Ahkello Witherspoon going on injured reserve this week. So perhaps this is the right time. Perhaps this is the week they finally get A.J. Brown going.
Yeah, Olivia, we heard from Kevin Patullo, and no surprise, peppered with questions about trying to open up this offense. And he suggested literally what you just said. We're not going to do it to the detriment of, turnovers, because we know what can happen. But at the same time, that is their game plan. Their game plan is to get A.J. Brown going and to get Devontae Smith going and to get some of those explosive plays. Was this more you think of, all right, this is Steve Spagnuolo, the way that he was able to pressure Jaylen Hurts, and that defensive front was really able to get all as close as possible, and really they had to get the ball out quick? Or was it we're risk averse and we're not trying to, we're 2 weeks into the season, we've got a new play caller, we're just trying to ease into it? Because it seems like it could be a little bit of both, but maybe a little bit more on not super imaginative yet with the play calling, despite what the defense gave them.
My impression, just reading between the lines of what Patullo had to say and then watching, of course, how the game actually panned out, was more of the former, where I don't think necessarily the Eagles went into the game thinking that they were going to take this more conservative approach as the game unfolded. We saw in the very beginning that the Eagles actually had a really awesome shot available to A.J. Brown on the very first play of the game, and ultimately there was a rusher that went unblocked, and Jaylen Hurts was under duress, and at that point, essentially, the play was blown up and dead, and A.J. Brown is he's got his, you see on the film, down the field, he's got his hand in the air like, hey, I'm open. Mm-hmm. But, when Hurts is pretty much, scrambling out of the pocket and then he fumbles the football, obviously you can't get the ball to A.J. Brown in that manner. So as we saw the game continue and Steve Spagnuolo blitzed at a really high rate, a rate that he hadn't in a single game. It was his highest rate in a single game since he became the defensive coordinator with the Chiefs in 2019. That said, I think the Eagles handled it really well. But you're not going to be pushing the ball downfield when you've got extra rushers coming at you. It's not the easiest way to get the ball out quickly. And Hurts did a really good job of getting the ball out quickly. I think he was averaging a little over 2 seconds per pass against the blitz, which is what you want. But you're not taking shots down the field against the blitz typically, except for that one 28-yard pass to Devontae Smith. So, yeah, to me, I think it was just the way the game unfolded, coupled with some breakdowns in execution. It's never one thing, and I know it would be really easy to just, pin it on one person or just pin it on Kevin Patullo or, whatever. That's, the convenient thing to do, but I don't necessarily think it was just one thing in that game.
Talking about getting the ball out quick, Dallas Goedert was that option in the first game of the season. I know you wrote about him speaking with the media, being back at practice. What do you make of his availability, and what can he open up that we didn't see in week 2?
I think it was a good sign that he practiced yesterday, even if he was just a limited participant. It was funny. He said last week he was pushing the play against the Chiefs. He's never played in Arrowhead before. 2 years ago when the Eagles were back there, he was injured for that game as well. And the game before that is when he sustained the injury. He fractured his forearm against who else than the Dallas Cowboys. So it's a little bit of a deja vu moment for Dallas Goedert. But, yeah, I think if the Eagles can get him back this week, that would be a big benefit to them, not only in the passing game, Ray, as you mentioned, but also in terms of what he brings as a blocker in the run game, in pass protection. That's, I think, something that the Eagles have kind of missed. They elevated Cameron Latu for the game from the practice squad last week, and he played a few snaps, had a couple key blocks. It was really encouraging to see him step into that fullback role. But Grant Calcaterra, Kylan Granson, I think, have shown perhaps some need for improvement as blockers, I think, to put it kindly, not necessarily their strong suits. And that is something that Goddard is really good at. And I think if they have him back there, perhaps a shot like that to A.J. Brown in the very beginning of the game against the Chiefs, maybe that would have been available if it were Goddard out there and not Calcaterra. But, coulda, shoulda, woulda, if, whatever, it doesn't really matter at this point. I think all that matters right now is getting Goddard back on the field healthy and ready to contribute to this team. Whether or not it's this week, we'll find out soon.
Moving to the defense, we were talking about Adoree Jackson and what to do with him. And it does seem, we heard from Vic Fangio at the beginning of the season, we're going to give him a longer leash. We're going to let this play out a little bit. But now 2 weeks in, the return's not good, very good. And now you have another really dynamic receiver in Puka Nacua. Ray had mentioned, maybe you do something to change it up and have Cooper DeJean kind of follow Nacua around. But Adoree Jackson will still be out there. And that's got to be a little bit of a concern because this is a younger defense in certain aspects, but they can't just let these guys run roughshod all over you. And Matt Stafford can find those guys. How do you expect that secondary to kind of play out in this one on Sunday?
That's going to be such a huge part of this game, I think. And I do think credit where credit is due, and it's a low bar over his first performance with the Eagles. But I do think that Adoree Jackson was better against the Chiefs. Again, I think it was a low bar, and it's not to say that he had a flawless game. But yeah, I think that matchup is going to be a critical one for this game on Sunday, and it's one of the reasons why I have my reservations about whether or not the Eagles are going to win because of Matthew Stafford and this retooled receiving core that he has, with the addition of Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua coming back, and even Tutu Atwell. He's been a talented receiver for them as well, and someone that the Eagles hold in high regard. So I think, that is going to be a key part of this game. The Rams use a lot of pre-snap motion. They thrive off of the play-action pass game, and especially when you've got some young players in the defense, and now at this point, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, they're in their second years, and they've shown from the beginning, I would say, that they are not your typical rookies. They're pretty savvy, and they've continued to play at a high level in their second season. But, for the Jahad Campbells of the world, too, this is it's going to be really important for this entire defense to be very disciplined, to not fight on any of the eye candy they may see in the backfield, and to really just hone in and lock in on their assignments. So that's going to be a big part of this, and I'm not sure if I have 100,000% confidence that it's going to be a perfect day for the Eagles secondary, simply because this Rams passing game is so potent.
We're talking to Olivia Reiner here from the Philadelphia Inquirer, and I want to lead that right into the game prediction here. Again, I'm not trying to steal content from you, but you seem a little uncertain on this week where you're going to go. How do you see this one playing out on Sunday?
Yeah, it's tough. When I did my season predictions for the entire year, I picked the Rams in this game, and because I am 2-0 in my predictions so far, and the Eagles are 2-0 as well, I am going to stick with my preseason prediction and stick with the Rams for this game. Listen, this was a really entertaining divisional round game last year, probably the most entertaining game of the postseason for the Eagles. And it came down to that very final drive, and Matthew Stafford really carving up the secondary until Jalen Carter was able to pretty much blow it all up for them. It was a huge play. And now the Rams are coming in looking for their revenge. And based on what we have seen from this Eagles team, I would say the defense has fared really well so far in 2 games overall. The offense has some catching up to do. Perhaps Sunday is the day where they can start to separate themselves a little bit and to generate some more explosive plays. But like I said before, I think the big concern that I have is, Stafford and this Eagles secondary and even, up front, generating pressure on Matthew Stafford too is going to be critical. He's a really accurate, efficient quarterback when he is kept clean, and that's the big keyword. So can the Eagles do a good enough job generating pressure up front? Can they be sound in the secondary against these, a few very talented receivers? I have some doubts, so I'm going with the Rams for this game.
All right. Well, we enjoy your coverage regardless, but I am rooting against your pick.
Okay. You're allowed to do whatever you want. Listen, I see the other side of it too. Obviously, of course. The Eagles are 2-0. Hard to pick against them too.
It is hard to pick against them. I probably won't be this weekend, but we'll see. We'll see. I appreciate you joining us, Olivia. Always a pleasure talking with you.
Anytime, guys.
Olivia Reiner of the Philadelphia Inquirer. You can experience the new look of Inquirer Sports where fans can read, watch, and listen to their favorite reporters and columnists. Go to inquirer.com/sports. So picking against the Birds. Now, I respect the sticking with your W's and L's because I did not. Week 2, I abandoned my W's and L's immediately.
Well, it's funny. There are some people that thought last week was going to be the loss. And so if they had 2-2 for the first 2 weeks, they thought loss to the Chiefs and maybe loss to the Bucks. And now they're thinking, well, maybe we're going to switch that. Maybe it's the loss to the Rams and then not a loss to the Bucks.
Maybe.
So it's 3-1.
Maybe. I had them 2-2 after the first week. So
I think I had 3.
After the first month. I already abandoned one pick because I was like, you know what? They're just better than the Chiefs. They're going to beat the Chiefs. And sure enough,
as soon as you saw that Xavier Worthy wasn't going, you thought
that also
you have a lot of your confidence increased.
All right, we have one more segment for you, which means I have one final guess the Walk of Fame.
Let's go, Austin.
All right, 3 clues. It's name that Walk of Famer in honor of LA Week. You get a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Riley Green. We're giving away 4 pairs of tickets. We already have 7 people entered. You'll be the last entry. Next summer, August 13th, 2026, Freedom Mortgage Pavilion tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 o'clock. All right, your 3 clues. First person to text in, 610-632-0975 is entered. Christy Brinkley, Madison Square Garden, and We Didn't Start the Fire. 610-632-0975. Who is that Walk of Fame member?
Oh, I have no idea.
No way. We didn't start the fire?
We didn't start the fire. It was always.
How about, I'm going to give him the 4th clue. I feel like I have to give him the 4th clue.
Yes.
Piano Man.
Oh, that's Elton John.
Oh! The other guy with the
Bruce
piano.
Springsteen.
Oh, no.
Okay. Play piano?
The guy that was New York, not New Jersey.
New York, not New
I just
Jersey.
watched his documentary.
Oh, man.
HBO Max.
We just talked about it.
We did. Check your call screener. Gabby's trying to bail you out.
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel.
Shout out Gabby. That one won't count.
Oh, I know.
But it'll count for whoever texts first.
That's right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go through the entire disc.
Austin, we love you.
We love you, Austin.
Just remember that.
Hey, I went 4 for 8 today.
That's
50%.
all right. 50,
I'll take it.
If you bat 500 in a series, you're getting an MVP. So
you were 2 for 3 at one point. It was a great start.
The gasp I had for the Elton John was.
And it was a sticking point of the Billy Joel documentary. He wanted to differentiate himself from Elton John. He clearly didn't do a good enough job. That's the takeaway here. Coming up, what do you do with the night without the Phils? Because I'm not interested in Thursday Night Football tonight. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincade and Salciunas.
Hey, guys, Andrew Salciunas.
And let's go there with the passing offense because it was a lot of our conversation yesterday with, hey, fantastic to get that win in Kansas City. A really good job of going on the road against the reigning AFC champs where they were in a desperate spot. Great job getting that win. But that passing offense right now, not where you would, I guess, expect a team with the talent they have to be. What are you seeing right now in this passing offense that needs to be corrected most?
Yeah, corrected is a tough word. Let's first go to the root of what I hear a lot of people saying, and I just myself don't believe it to be true, and that's just not my opinion. I've watched the tape. I've been fortunate to watch tape with some really smart people, former football players, former Eagles who've helped school me on things to look for and concepts. Greg Cosell is a part of our Inside the Birds family, and he's one of the top tape breakdown guys in all of the land, right? And the first thing you're looking for with new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo is he doing something different? Is he trying to add something to this offense that it's not catered to do? Is he not suiting it to the strengths of his personnel? And I can definitively tell you that the offense conceptually is built and looks and is designed the same way it's been for the last few years. So the idea that it's Kevin Patullo's fault and he's doing something that the other guys weren't doing is completely false. Now, I'm not saying he's flawless, and obviously he's 2 games into the first time as a coordinator, and so there's a feel for a game. There's an understanding of when to call certain plays at the right time, and that's something that is developed along the way. And clearly, Kellen Moore came with that already, whereas Kevin Patullo didn't have it. Brian Johnson 2 years ago didn't have it at the NFL level. So I understand sort of people saying, "Oh man, this reminds me of 2 years ago." But the difference is they have Saquon here, and conceptually they are keeping things the same. So when Kevin Patullo is calling a certain play from his menu, that menu isn't all that different from the menu of last year and the year before, because the Eagles understand this better than anyone because it's their building and their players. They understand what their offense should look like, how it should run, what is the best way to run it. They're not like a team that runs like 1,000 different route concepts and route designs. They do what they do really well. They run the ball typically, and then they try to get the shot play that Jaylen Hurts likes so much. And so when you ask what's corrected, Ray, he took about 4 or 5 deep shots in the game against the Chiefs, but only one of them connected. Obviously, it was the most important one to Devontae Smith, but he missed Devontae earlier in the game on a similar one. He missed A.J. Brown on one that kind of I think he got hit, or there was so much traffic in his face. You might remember it was pretty early. It floated. A.J. actually caught it out of bounds and got hit, and everybody thought it was a late hit. There were about 4 or 5 plays that you typically see him and Brown and Devontae connect on that in the first 2 weeks just haven't been there.
Final segment for us. Ricky's radio show is coming up next. Here on 97.5 The Fanatic alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. I texted Bill immediately. It's like
Ricky's radio show.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not wrong. He's just
not the only one.
To steal a phrase from Bill about Bill's show, he's not wrong. They got their high school athlete of the week today too. I'm excited for that. I like that feature that they're running there. We today ran a game that, truthfully, I was excited for. And
it's LA week. It's an iconic part of the LA. It's
overrated.
It's
overrated
it is, but
part of LA.
People always say, I want to go. You go see the Walk of Fame, and there's parts of it that are a little bit more celebrated. They look a little bit cooler. There's parts of it you're literally like outside of 7-Eleven, and you look down and there's a star.
Right. That's probably where they would put my star. Probably 7-Eleven.
At least you got one.
Yeah. I need someone to sponsor that.
Could be outside of a brewery, $85,000.
They do have a good brewery down on that Walk of Fame. I don't know what it is. When I was down there, it was the best part of the Walk of Fame.
Austin told me it was $85,000 that someone has to put up in order to get it. I'm sure because of the whole. I'm sure there's other stuff.
That's why I'm not getting one. Could you just, as a random person, get one if someone put up $85,000?
I imagine there's another process as far as like you said, there was an agent that wrote all this stuff about it.
Kevin Hart's agent easily wrote his Walk of Fame.
There's there's some of that, but yeah.
There's a good brewery, though.
$85,000 to change whatever the walk is and put your star there.
Give some people the recommendation here.
So that would yours would be outside the brewery.
Would be because it's a solid brewery out there. I forget what it was. 10 best breweries now. Brewery Art Walk. No, never mind. Can't get it. It might be Angel City. I don't know. It was good. That was the one thing I liked about the Walk of Fame was the fact I found a good brewery. Okay. The Hollywood sign also overrated. Listening to Miley Cyrus growing up, she was, Hollywood sign, as she got off the plane. I thought I expected more. out of the Hollywood sign. It was kind of underwhelming too.
Yeah.
I did that whole hike up there. You know.
$85,000 is how much it costs. It's paid not by the celebrity, but by some kind of sponsor, fan club, studio. It covers the permanent upkeep. That $85,000 covers the permanent upkeep.
Wonder what it originally cost, because that definitely didn't.
$85.
Yeah, that doesn't cover the permanent
There
upkeep.
you go.
So I would imagine you're paying for someone else's upkeep as well. But yeah, overall, LA pretty overrated.
But the game I thought was a great game to win these tickets.
I enjoyed the game. I don't think Austin enjoyed the game. I don't think that you enjoyed the game in the slightest.
I had fun. You know, I'm not going to sit and act like I know everything.
Yeah.
Because I clearly don't. So, but hey, I went 4 for 8. First time on the show.
And now you're going to always remember some of those names.
Yes.
Yes. That's a win-win.
Seinfeld, Veep, Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. It's somewhere in the text chain.
I stand.
Christy Brinkley,
I stand corrected.
Madison
against my
Square
statement.
Garden. We didn't start the fire.
Billy Joel.
All right,
There we go. What were the other ones that I had missed?
Louis-Dreyfus.
Harrison Ford.
Jennifer Garner.
And Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Was the first
Yeah.
Say her name one more time.
Julia
Louis Dreyfus.
Is that Lorraine? All right, Amy's out of here.
And I think Amy's done for the show. Amy, it was fun working with you this week.
That's unbelievable. Elaine.
See, I'm not. Listen, here's the thing.
We're
On
We're gonna help
Seinfeld,
you.
it's okay. I appreciate it. I remember seeing it as like a little kid, but since I've quote been
see, I don't
of
accept that.
age-
I don't accept that because there's a lot of things that happened before we were all watching.
No. He's got a point.
No, you don't.
You guys
No.
got a point.
Like the other
No.
big one I haven't watched is
No.
Friends. Like I just haven't been in there.
I didn't see Happy Days, but I know that Ron Howard was in it and the Fonz.
I know Ryan Howard.
It's a good point.
Okay.
That's where my brain was.
Producer's got a point on that one.
The Fonz.
The Fonz, yeah.
You know who that character is?
Yeah.
Hey.
You know who that character is. You didn't. That show was. No one was. John Kincade is the only person that was alive on this air.
Come on.
That's just a fact.
Come on.
It's not an old man joke.
That
That's
was
a
an old
fact.
man joke. That was tough. Come on.
It's factually correct. He would tell you that. Anyway.
True.
It's a compliment. He saw the show.
Yeah, he did. It's on the show.
So you guys know, hey, Fonz.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay, never mind.
I'm just saying it was fun for me to be on
Folks,
this side.
I've lost them.
It was
I've
fun
lost
for me
them.
to be on this side of a pop culture
I've lost them.
question and answer, because it was good to be given the questions, not answering them, because I understand the way Austin feels. Now, we got our winners for today, for our participants for today's game here. John from Langhorne, Martin from Broomall, Jason from Flemington, and Kevin from Pittman.
Way to go.
Congratulations. 4 of you each get a pair of tickets to see Riley Green on the As Cowboy as It Gets tour, August 13th, 2026 at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Get it on Ticketmaster. So there you go, Riley Green.
Well done, everyone.
As for tonight, I don't know what I'm doing.
You're not going to watch this game?
I think I'm going
It's
to.
not paint dry for you? Of course you're going to watch it.
I think, take my grandmother out to dinner first, which I'm very much looking forward to. But after that, when this game's on, I guess it's going to be on television. Like, I'm going to be with my brother tonight, so I guess we'll watch the game. But I don't know, how long I'm surviving this game.
Yeah. I mean,
I might
the
be
line
more
is
interested in the
11
McDaniel.
and a half or 12.
Yeah, McDaniel post-game more than I'd be interested in the actual second half of this game.
His comments this past week, you don't win games when you don't win them. It's just illuminating.
Yeah.
You can't win a game if you don't win it.
Well, and once you start to get snippy like that, I remember Doug at the end. Doug Peterson started to get really snippy with the press. And
That was good stuff.
But that was when you knew it was over. Once you
Or you're Bill Belichick and you're just always snippy.
Right, but if you start as like the
Start
fun,
snippy.
yeah, fun, happy guy, and
Then
then
it-
go snippy, it's usually that's the end.
It's a tough go down there. His quarterback is not who they thought that he was going to be. He really hasn't been the same after his injuries.
Yeah, but do we? Okay, maybe
I said
some
it's who
people
they thought he was going to
Yeah.
be. I didn't say who we
Okay.
as a whole.
As long as you didn't put me in that collective.
No, I said they.
Yeah.
It wasn't who they thought he was going to be.
No, he hasn't been. Tyreek Hill is how many weeks away from being like, I need to get out of here?
Oh, one.
One.
Maybe two.
Shane's walking by. He says 2.
Yeah, maybe 2.
But
It's sooner rather than later, I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you what. I think Padres Mets might be my choice for the evening.
That's a good one.
Maybe I'll get the multi-view going. If I'm bored by the football game, I'll take it off.
Where are you going to take your lovely grandma?
I believe
Wherever
we're
she
going
wants
to-
is the correct
Well, yes, but we had an answer because I talked to her on the phone last
Oh,
night
good.
about
Well
this.
done.
Yes. So, do you want me to give the answer
Yeah,
out?
of course.
We'll go Chadwick.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, a little.
That's very nice.
Yeah,
That's a reminder for everybody out there. Call your grandparents.
Yeah.
Talk to your grandparents.
I talked to actually yesterday. I had a night where I didn't have much. Usually I got something going on at night. I didn't have anything going on. Talked to a lot of people. I caught up with a lot of people last night. Grandmother, mom, dad. Yeah.
It's nice. It's good.
A lot of friends that were like, "What's going on with you? What's the latest with you?" A lot of people worried about me.
And how do they feel about if the Eagles are going to air it out?
Dad's worried. Dad's definitely concerned. Mom's still upset over the Giants' loss to the Cowboys.
Sorry.
Nana didn't really have a take. She's a Giants fan who she's more
We
upset.
overlook that. We love Nana, but no.
Yeah, she's more upset about the fact that the people at that at where she lives are upset about the Eagles. So they're
They're a little bit, because people want
They're nervous.
They want to see the explosive
nervous.
offense.
The people are talking about it, and the people are going to keep talking about it with Unfiltered.
Why wouldn't you?
Or as we like to call it, Ricky's radio show.
Do you think they're going to overcorrect and just air it out?
I got 4 hours tomorrow to tell you all about it, Amy. If you want.
Excited.
This was a lot of fun. Good to hang out. Do it again next Monday.
I'll see you on Monday.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Thanks to Austin. Thank you, Amy. I'm Ray Dunn. Hope to talk to you again real soon right here. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Limited, and Jalen Carter and Tanner McKee were both limited in practice as well. This update's brought to you by King's Hawaiian Sliders. Eli Manning reminds you that there's nothing like football and